why is it? What is happening? Why is it just showing Forte?
You broke it.
I definitely broke something. We gonna get it figured out. What's up, guys? Damage per Second podcast. That's DPS podcast, episode 154. We gonna get this figured out. The visual is not right. What it's supposed to be. I don't know why our guest and myself are not showing. I don't understand. I'll fix it out though. Shout out to everybody that's here. I want to shout out to Spider 13, Ramon Terrell, aka Trevor Birdsong, Level 1 Gaming in the house. Shout out to Level 1 Gaming. I think that's Baron. It's probably Baron or Fane, one of them. But shout out to both of them. Arcade 4247. What's up, bro? Rails Air 00, Grumpy Shaman, Truth Serum in the house. And our guest, our special guest. This man needs no introduction, but I'm gonna give him one anyway. This guy is the blue rat whisperer, as I like to call him.
Let's go.
Mr. Everborn Saga is in the house. What's up, man?
Listen, before we get to me, I just heard you shout out Ramon Terrell.
Yes.
I do. I want to say, if you guys don't know this man is not only an actor, but he is a writer. And he has several novels.
Mm-hmm.
And I own most of them. You need to go buy this man's book right now. I don't know what his website is. Somebody put his website. Mr. Ramon, if you are listening, put your book in the chat. If you guys like to read, and I know this is a smart crowd because you're listening to SloMo and Forte, so you guys probably like to read. Check this man's book out. I wanted to say that before we got started. Shout out to Ramon.
Yes, yeah. I'm reading his first book. It is very good. Definitely, I co-sign with Everborn Saga. Also, Everborn, if you leave the chat, go back into the waiting room. I'll drag you back in. You should show up.
Okay, let me try that.
All right. And while he's doing that, let me introduce my co-host.
Oh,
there we are. Gaming Forte. What's up, man?
What is up? It's been a great day. It's been,
great. You had a great day. You had a great day?
Yeah, it's been a great day. Got rear-ended on my way home from work, and
that's not great.
No, it's fine. It's fine. The dude was super nice, but I guess how you have to kind of be nice when you run into somebody's car when you fall asleep at the wheel. But it's
word. He fell asleep. Hey,
man,
look,
that man was on fumes.
Man,
Forte, not to outsuffer you.
Mm-hmm.
But this weekend, I was in Florida attending a funeral, family funeral, and the entire family was getting together Saturday night. We were at an uncle's house, and as we were all departing around midnight, the car that my mom is driving in gets rear-ended by a drunk driver, totaling both cars.
Ridiculous.
Now, my mom just had back surgery.
Oh, man.
And when I tell you the hands that almost went on this drunken asshole who could barely stand up straight, but the police got there in time to save him. They put the baby gloves on him. They arrested him. My mom is still in Florida, couldn't come back with us because she's been going to the doctor back and forth. And now she's in the hospital, in the emergency room, getting CAT scans and things like that to make sure she's okay. No broken bones. She was fine when we got out. But now she's feeling like pains and things like that. And
how long ago did this happen?
This happened on Saturday that just passed.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, definitely have her. We try to keep it PG-ish.
Because of the effing drunk driver.
That's good. Right? That works.
And I want to say, and I'm a peaceful man, but I have a family full of Jamaicans. If the police did not get there, I don't know if I'd be on this show right now. That's all I want to say.
Understood.
Don't drink and drive.
Yeah, understood, bro.
Co-sign that absolutely. I have definitely seen some people who are no longer here who have done similar things, and luckily they didn't take anyone else out with them. But yo, it's not a smart idea. Don't do it. Don't drink and drive.
Please don't do that. My man was super nice. You know, he was just getting off work, and you know, I've been there tired, but that's also why I don't drive when I'm tired. I'll pull off to the side of the road, get 15 minutes of sleep.
You starting to bot, man. You starting to get your Optimus Prime on. Boy, it's getting worse, bro. It's getting worse.
I was
oh my gosh, Forte. So you're not even hearing this, are you? You transformed on us. You went from gaming Forte to like Starscream in like 10 seconds.
I went to Rodimus Prime.
No, Starscream, not Optimus Prime, because Optimus Prime he's the man.
I said Rodimus Prime, sir.
No, not him either. You was Starscream.
I was Starscream. Okay. Well, listen.
Oh my, here we go.
Every once in a while, you kind of gotta let your balls hang out.
Wow, this is we know exactly what you said, man.
We go a little deeper with it, you know. But I also.
I'm just waiting for the Beastie Boys beat to drop.
Listen, I'm also like SloMo. I need you to get in there and start beating games like Alleyway 3, because I'm the monster in the closet, and I want you to feel me.
Are you done? You done, Forte? I mean,
what happened? What happened? What are you talking about?
Moving on. Everborn, what have you been playing? I'm just going to move on.
All right.
He's been taking a relaxed beach and walking on the sand with his girlfriend, holding hands and everything. That's what he's been doing.
That's actually true. But in between that, I have I just finished Starfield maybe 2 weeks back. Well, you don't finish Starfield, but I'm a Starborn, right? And then over the weekend, I beat not Sonic Frontiers.
You don't even know the name of the game that you champion?
They're all the same. It's okay.
Well, no. Well, hold on a minute. There's a reason for this, because Sonic Frontiers had a DLC that added Knuckles and Tails and Amy as playable characters, and I was trying that, but I didn't put a lot of time in that. So I just beat Sonic Superstars, which is great until you play Mario Wonder, and you can kind of see the seams. Mario Wonder.
So you're saying Mario Wonder is better? Mario Wonder
is a better 2D platformer than Sonic Superstars.
No, wait.
Better game overall?
Mario Wonder is a better 2D platformer than
no.
That's all you're gonna get. You're not getting any more than that.
Why are you afraid to just tell the truth? Tell the truth and saying the double, bro. Listen, we know you're a Sonic fan. We know you bleed blue, you know, and all that other crazy stuff when it comes to Sonic, man. But listen, man, I tried to tell you guys when I saw Mario Wonder, I was like, yo, this is gonna be it. And the fact that you said it's the best, isn't the Sonic game a 2D game?
It is, but what I'll say about Sonic Superstars, and I haven't played it on the couch co-op, and that may change the dynamic, but I think that there's some nice gimmicks in the levels, especially as you get later on. There are things like Robotnik has hit a self-destruct button in his factory, and you have to keep running and then jumping on a switch to set the clock back to 0, because if it goes up too high, then the level explodes and you die or whatever. And there's another one where
when you said he hit the self-destruct button, did he hit it on purpose because he was trying to escape this mid-game, or was it a different reason?
You see what you're doing? I'm just trying to tell people about the game. That's all I'm trying to do.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, man. My bad. I will hold the slander.
there's another there's another
Wow.
there's another gimmick where Robotnik, like, you beat him and then he reverses time, so you have to play the entire level backwards, and it tracks everything that you did, so every falling platform will now go back up in the order that you hit it, so you have to. It's very cool what they do. But the thing so those are gimmicks and they're super interesting, and I want them to do more of that. But there isn't enough of that. So the level design in Sonic Mania, I think, is a lot more interesting than this. But the gimmicks and the graphics are better here. And one thing where I think there was a miss on their part for Sonic Superstars is that the whole thing is 3D, right? It's a 2D perspective game, but it's 3D, the environment, everything. And I think that takes away from the timelessness of it. So because you can kind of see the pixels on the 3D thing, and it just doesn't work. The character models are great, that's great, but the environment, I think it leaves something to be desired, especially like if you play that and then you go and play Mario, because if you play Mario, the character models are in 3D, but the environment is all 2D, right? And it's just a big difference, and you can see it in what they do. And I mean, you can just tell the games had two completely different budgets. But as a 2D platformer goes, Sonic is great. It's just that you can't put it next to Mario Wonder. I would put it next to maybe Super Mario Deluxe, and maybe it could hold its own, but not.
I mean, Super Mario Deluxe is a 15-year-old game, though.
That's true. That's true.
So I would hope that a game that came out in 2023.
Oh man!
From
see, I ain't say it. That was Forte this time. That was Forte. I didn't say it.
No. Okay, so here's another thing that I will say about Sonic Superstars.
Listen, all that stuff you just said is like the long, like drawn out answer to the fact that Mario Wonder is better than Sonic.
I know. That's all y'all wanted to hear. But for the people that want to hear about the game, one thing I want to say, last thing before I move on from that, because I'm playing a couple of other games, but not a lot, so I won't take long on those. But I just beat this game, so it's very fresh in my mind. And Amy's the best character in this one, like in terms of playstyle. That's another thing that they do super well. Each of the 4 characters feel completely different. They have different powers, and it is almost you kind of feel like you want to do every level with each of them, because you're going to have a completely different play style. And I just think Amy's double jump just works so well. But one thing about this game is that they seem, and maybe this is necessity, right? Because Sonic has had some stinkers in the past, right? I said some, not
really.
All. Shut up, SloMo.
Really?
Shut up.
I had no idea. I had no idea.
So this game seems very preoccupied with trying to remind you why Sonic was great in the first place, and they do a good job of that. But they're not, as King David would say, advancing the line. Not much.
So now, Phil, shout out to Phil in the chat. Phil in the chat says the Superstars reuse a bunch of old levels like Mania, or are they actually all brand new? They were all brand new levels.
All brand new levels, all new gimmicks, all that. And listen, maybe Mania is why the level design, feels better, because they're using a lot of old levels. Not to be confused with Origins, which is actually the old games. But there's a lot of new stuff in Mania too, and I just feel like it's very well designed. But again, I would love, and I don't know if you have this on the docket of things to talk about, but Sega, they did an interview and they talked about some of their financials, and they released the new updated numbers. So Sonic as an IP has been downloaded or purchased 1.66 billion times, and that number last year for fiscal 22 was 1.5 billion. So 160 million downloads in the last 12 months.
And that's for everything, for every Sonic mobile game, everything.
That's mobile downloads, free to play. The Sonic Dash, which is like or Sonic Boom, whatever they're calling it now. That is a huge game with hundreds of millions of players. Brings Sega in a lot of money, and they've announced a new 3D Sonic game that looks like the Sonic game everyone was asking for, but it's exclusive to iOS and Apple Arcade, which is hilarious. Yeah.
Sounds like they still don't know what they're doing. Hey,
wait,
real quick, hold on.
You say that though. Yeah, go ahead. Because before you say that, like, they know what they're doing on the mobile side. That's where their growth avenue is.
Well, true. Mobile's much bigger than consoles. So I guess they just said, you know what, we just give up trying to make a great one on the consoles. Now we're just going to cede that to Mario. Shout out to Enrique with the $2 super chat. He says, "SloMo, are you still playing Alan Wake 2?" See, that's a very interesting question, Enrique.
Watch the tap dance.
There's no tap dance. There's no tap dance. I will play.
Because he's afraid.
Here we go.
He's
Here
afraid
we go.
of me and the big bad wolf. He don't want to walk in the general store, and he don't want to see me coming through the door because his flashlight has nothing that it can do to me, and it's very unfortunate for him. And he's scared, and his children are scared, and his wife and everyone in his house is scared because he's a PUA. I ain't gonna say it out loud because this is the Friendly podcast.
Wow.
Are you done? You done, Forte? You finished? Thank you.
What are you talking about?
Here we go. I will be live streaming at least chapter 2 of Alan Wake 2 tomorrow. Okay, I will give it another chance. I've had Rand telling me, "Hey, SloMo, don't slander this Game of the Year game." I've had everybody say, "Oh, it's so amazing. It's so great. How are you bored, SloMo? I don't understand." And meanwhile, I'm literally injecting Red Bull intravenously into my veins in order to stay awake. Okay, it's so freaking boring, but I will give it one more shot. We'll give it one more shot, okay? At least chapter 2, you will get out of me. If not tomorrow, Saturday. So one of those days, I will go live and then I will play more of it, okay? I am not afraid of Alan Wake. I don't know why some of y'all all like, it's the scariest game ever. I'm like, are y'all afraid of like the Midwest or something? Look, as a black man, I can understand being afraid of some places in the Midwest. You know what I mean? but I do not see nothing to be afraid of. It don't seem that scary at all. I mean, I'm afraid to fall asleep on stream. I don't want to end up like a homie Heartache, you know. So like, I don't want that to happen.
Oh man,
so,
that man fell asleep on the balcony.
Yeah, that man was asleep for like a full night live streaming on Twitch. It was hilarious. But like, I don't want to end up like that. So I'm trying. Like, that's the only fear I have. This game ain't scary to me so far. But anyway, anywho, the gameplay you're seeing right now is the campaign for Modern Warfare 3. Or Modern Warfare 2.5, however you want to call it, because it's all kind of like, you know, achievements as everything is tied into Modern Warfare 2, because it was really only supposed to be DLC, but it's a standalone game now, and when it's a standalone game, then it's not DLC no more. That's how we view things, right?
That's how we do.
This is I only did like the very first part. I didn't have a lot of time today, but I'm gonna play more of this tonight. I heard it's kind of short, but it is what it is. Shout out to Enrique with the $5 super chat. Says, SloMo, didn't you read some of the reviews? It starts off slow but gets better as you progress. Once again, Enrique, I do not read reviews.
He read those Starfield reviews.
No, I didn't, man. I don't care about reviews. I don't care about other people's opinions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. But regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Then why are you so worried about my opinion on Sonic?
I am not worried about your opinion on Sonic. Because I know that you are alone in your opinion on Sonic. Because you're the only person that I know that has spent bought multiple copies of that game, didn't you? Right? How many copies you buy?
Of what game?
You know what game I'm talking about. Sonic Superstars.
I bought one copy of that, sir. And
Only one? Only one?
Only one.
Only one
Well,
box?
let me tell you.
You mean only one box?
Let me tell you why I only bought one. I was gonna also buy it on PC, but Kay Asante explained to me that usually, because I wanted to play it handheld because I feel like that's like the better way to play these 2D platformers. Just feels nostalgia, whatever. But he was saying a lot of times Sega games become play anywhere randomly a couple of months after their release. He was saying I should probably wait because again, I do plan on playing it again because I want to play all the levels with the different characters. It does have that level of replay value just because the characters feel so different. So I'm waiting, and that's why I didn't double dip. I did double dip on Diablo, which is hilarious because I haven't really started it yet. Maybe I have like 4 hours in Diablo.
That's terrible.
You did say that you said the co-op might change your mind or your perception of Sonic Superstars if you got a chance to play it. That means you played it single player, right?
The whole way, yes. 12 hours.
So you want to know the difference is Mario Wonder, if you play the single player, is just as good if you play with other people.
So it's not better.
I said it's the same. It plays
right, but
it plays.
That
I said,
not better.
No, because the game is better, and you said that it might be a better experience if you play with other people. I'm telling you that Mario Wonder is just as good by itself as it is playing with other people.
And what I'm saying is, what I'm hearing from you is that multiplayer makes it no better. So that is not value added. I'm saying in Sonic Superstars,
you know what value? You want to know how value? Value added is when I can pick up the controller and my daughter can pick up the controller and she can have the same experience with me. And co-op is and Everborn, you gonna stop acting like you don't know what this is. You know when you pick up the game could be the exact same game when you play it in co-op, but the co-op aspect is just playing with your friends. If the game sucks, it ain't gonna be better just because your friends are there.
At what point did I say the game sucks? I give the game an 8 out of 10.
You know what? Every time
Mario
you say
Wonder,
listen,
a 9.5 out of 10.
Listen, every time you say Sonic, I'm gonna play this.
It's me, Mario.
See what I'm saying? You know, I said this to Kay Asante the other day. I realized
I'm gonna break into his house and I'm stealing that soundboard, and I'm gonna take a picture of myself throwing it off a bridge and send it to him.
You should you should do the stomp out like in Office Space. Right?
Yeah, when they stomp out the printer.
I realized something, that all of the hate in the gaming community for Sonic is actually geared towards me because I'm so positive on Sonic, and that just bothers people.
No, it's also because Sonic sucks.
Greatness intimidates people so much.
It's two things. See, two things can exist at once, Everborn. People can get a kick out of kicking you, right, on this whole Sonic thing, and also just acknowledge that Sonic sucks. And Sonic is a has-been IP. And one of our topics tonight is some IP that should stay dead, but we're gonna get into that later. Okay, this is
just two things. So Sonic aside, I put like 4.5 hours into Mario Wonder. It's great. I love it. One of the greatest 2D platformers ever made. But also this week I have started both Spider-Man 2 and I started Alan Wake last night. Okay. And that is why I made that poll today to see if you are someone subscribed to Game Pass, right? I'm not saying are you gonna subscribe for this, but if you're already subscribed to Game Pass, are you gonna buy Modern Warfare 3 or wait till it comes next year? Now, me, as some person who doesn't really care for COD, haven't played it since Advanced Warfare in 2014. I think that was it. The one with Kevin Spacey. Right? The only way I'd play it is if it was Game Pass. So if it wasn't for Game Pass, I wouldn't buy it. But I find myself succumbing to the hype. And now I'm feeling like, do I want to buy it? But I'm like, wait a minute. You have like a half hour in Spider-Man and maybe 45 minutes in Alan Wake, and you didn't finish Mario Wonder.
Yeah, just wait.
By the time you finish those, it might be in Game Pass.
Oh,
yeah, and also you're not really into PvP like that, so you really would just be playing
that at all, just the campaign.
Yeah, you just be playing the campaign. Which I mean, I'm showing the campaign right now. The first mission was alright. It was alright, but like I mean, if I wouldn't get Call of Duty if I was just going to play the campaign. I got early access because I pre-ordered it. I'm gonna beat this campaign, and I'm definitely playing the multiplayer when the multiplayer is live and everything. So like, if you're not really into both of those, then I would say just at that point, definitely wait until Game Pass, because it's not, the interest for you is not that high. But as I said, as a reply to your poll, I don't wait for games that I want to play. Like if I really want to play a game, I'm not waiting. Like some people are thinking that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because the contractual timed exclusivity of it is just 3 months, that it might be showing up on PC next summer. Yeah, if you look at Final Fantasy 16, and the fact that like in another month, the timed exclusivity is up for that, and they already told you it ain't coming out in December or January, then more than likely Rebirth is going to just show up, out of nowhere on PC in July or something. It's going to take a little time. And so I don't wait for games. If I want to play it, I'm playing it right now. I do not wait. So, I mean, but that's just me. If you're not hyped, look, Everborn, I don't think you really want to play it. I think you just...
Again, I bought Diablo twice. Once on BattleNet and once on the Xbox, because it has cross play but not cross buy, which is wild. Again, if the deal goes through, Enrique, if you're in the chat, that will be another benefit to consumers. So
y'all are too much. All right, look, let's get into the topics. Because if not, we're gonna be here arguing with Everborn about Sonic until about 11:30 tonight.
I was literally looking for the
bullets in the chamber.
I was literally. You should see. I was loading up the soundboard with Sonic stuff. I literally got the game over scene in here. Like,
anywho,
don't make me use them. Don't make me use them, Everborn.
First topic. There is a rumor. This one's a rumor. The other one is definitely confirmed. But we got some DLCs coming, y'all. God of War Ragnarok DLC is rumored to be coming out soon. I definitely going to be down to play that. I enjoyed the campaign for Ragnarok and the story. Want to see more. Definitely want to see where it goes from there. It's rumored, so there's no guarantee. And I believe in the rumor they said that there's a chance they might just expand on it more and then break it out into its own game, which we've seen.
About to ask you that.
Right. So that's something that Sony has done multiple times before. And so that might delay whenever the timetable is for this coming out in order to make it a full-fledged release, which will still be smaller than Ragnarok was. I mean, frankly, Ragnarok was bigger than God of War 2018, but it would be bigger than whatever DLC they initially had planned. So what my question is to the panel, as soon as I get done with this super chat, is who's going to get this? And so real quick, C Clizzle of 420 with the $10 super chat says, stop and do the support. Catch the show tomorrow doing work. Shout out to Slow. And Benedict Forte. Hit that like button. I love that. Benedict Forte. Because you are Benedict Forte.
Well, I don't know where all
reminded me about how you betrayed me, but it's okay. It's all right. Right?
Tell me why you mad, son. Tell me why you mad. Why you mad at me, son?
That soundboard needs to.
Forte, I actually have to ask you a question because I have been very confused because Luca calls you Nautical, right? I guess that's your Destiny name.
No,
I thought that Nautical was a completely different person for about 8 years.
A lot of people
you gotta like streamline your branding, man.
No. My branding is streamlined, sir. It is gaming for it. Okay, so I'll give you So I've been on Xbox Live since the inception of Xbox Live. When I went to the store to get a Xbox Live kit with the headset, I was there,
sir.
I was there day one, and I raced to the store because my gamer tag was nautical day one because I wanted my name to be nautical because I went to school for marine biology and I love water, and my name is perfect for what that was. I lost. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry. No. Go ahead.
So I lost my account. This was back when Microsoft wasn't, where you had to have a credit card on file for Xbox Live. My credit card got stolen. And when I went and I was off Xbox Live for like 6 months. When I went to try, and I couldn't remember my password for my Xbox Live account. So I called Xbox and they were like, yeah, if you don't have the credit card that's on file, we can't give you that name back and we can't give you access to the account. So, needless to say, I lost the account. So I went back and, that's when I did the nautical with a 1 for the I. I just did all capital letters and the 1 was an I and everything else was letters. And that was it all the way until 2015, right before I met, right when I got really, really familiar with the community and stuff. That's right around the time I met Luca. I was nautical then, and that's what she knows me from. And then I streamlined everything because I didn't want my gamer tag to be my YouTube name. And that's when I made everything Gaming Forte across everything. And then Luca was like, you should have just made it nautical. And part of me feels like I probably should have done that because that was the case. But I did streamline everything to match the
nautical
YouTube channel.
Is more unique than Gaming Forte.
Well, listen, it's actually, you're right. I agree. But the funny thing is when Xbox did it, and I probably would have switched everything to nautical, but it pissed me off because I lost the original account. But the funny thing is when Xbox released gamer tags back in 2019, when they did that refresh of all the gamer tags that weren't in use anymore, my gamer tag came open again and I kept trying to get it. But literally I checked it like a week after and somebody else had claimed it. And I'm like, God dang it. Somebody else claimed it.
You knew somebody was going to get that.
I know, man. But that's the whole story because that was my original Xbox Live name all the way through 2015, 2016. And she's always known me by that.
Shout out to C. Bushrun for saying thank you for the Discovery Channel gaming history moment.
hey, listen. You already knew all this stuff because we used to sit in boring ass meetings in Vegas and talk about this type of stuff. Just
Look,
Bush.
Real quick before you guys answer the question I asked like 12 years ago, your boy Roy with the $5 super chat says, can't stay for the whole show, but you guys help my Friday workday go by quicker. Been loving your shows, and SloMo, I feel you're on Alan Wake. Someone feels my pain. I appreciate you, Roy.
That just means you scared of it too. That's all.
He ain't scared of nothing. He's scared of falling asleep. That's what he's scared of. It's like, see, the guy that hit you earlier today, Forte, that guy was playing Alan Wake before he got in the car.
That man was playing Horizon in his brain.
So speaking of Alan Wake, right? Like, all right, Forte, you like the game, obviously. It sounds like better than SloMo does, right?
Yeah, the game's actually pretty fun. I'm into that type of stuff.
How far in it are you, Forte?
Like an hour. I only played a little, like an hour and a half.
So I've played longer than you have. Be quiet.
Yeah,
I knew I played more than him, so I already knew.
No, I'm not saying, listen, I'm not saying you didn't play. Did you hear the words come out of my mouth say, oh, so I played the game more than SloMo, and SloMo's a security cat.
No. I just knew because you barely play. You play 5 minutes of every game and don't beat nothing. And that could be verified by our community. So I was just letting you look, I just knew that's what you did.
Didn't I beat Remnant 2 with you?
Didn't I help you beat it?
But didn't I beat it with you?
It didn't I help you beat it?
Didn't I help you beat it?
Shout out to Aronimus with the $5 super chat saying, love the soundboard, Forte, keep it up.
Let's go. Oh
my God.
So my question here, which completely sidesteps SloMo's question.
Listen,
we
will hold the line.
Let's go.
Hold the line. That's what I'm talking about.
So I feel like this is an insane year, just of game of the year contenders, but like every new game that comes out, I'm feeling like there's this sort of recency bias that says this is the one, this is the game of the year. Now, Alan Wake, I have not played it long enough. I just did the opening scene, and now I'm in that.
He's another. Oh my!
Or whatever.
Y'all have not played nearly as much of the game as I played.
I'm not.
What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything?
Y'all don't know. Y'all don't know how it feels. Okay.
But wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have to know how it feels?
I'm not making any comment on the quality of the game. I just said I'm too early in it to say. This is why I'm asking people who have played it more than me. What I am saying is, every new game that comes out, people are saying this is the game of the year, and I'm saying, are people saying that about Alan Wake legitimately, or are they just looking at the melt your face graphic? Is it legitimately a game of the year contender?
I can't say. I cannot say because I'm not. So far for me, no. But I'm also, if I was being just fully objective, I wouldn't, based on how much I played it, I wouldn't say it is or isn't, because I haven't played enough of it to really give it that kind of determination. Now, like shout out to the homie Randolph Thor, who beat it this week and said that he believes it is his game of the year. So I mean, like, there are some people out here who definitely certified gamers who are saying that it is. I respect their opinion on it.
I gotta look at Rand's history. I feel like he says that multiple times in a year.
So you saying he's a prisoner of the moment?
He might be, man. I'm not saying that. And Rand knows I love him, but I got to go look at his timeline, because that man seems like he always saying something is game of the year after he beats it.
So and that's really the question, because I was told that Diablo was game of the year until that first season patch came out or whatever.
Well, I never said that.
Right?
That was never for me.
People were saying it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because those are people that don't like, those people don't know Diablo. The moment that game came out, I was like, oh, this game's got a chance of being game. It could be in the game of the year conversation.
It's not even going to be a nominee.
It did. And then that DLC came out, and I was like, oh, I'm not even playing this game no more.
Right, and then people said that Resident Evil 4 should be game of the year, and Jedi Survivor should be game of the year.
Not with those bugs.
Hogwarts Legacy game of the year.
It should.
Listen, I think Hi-Fi Rush should be in the contenders, but it's not going to make it. It's not going to make it.
It's good, but not that good, unfortunately.
Oh no!
In this year, with everything, no,
not this year. So I'm not even going to feel no way. Like, I don't know where it could get nominated or whatever. But I'm saying
pixel shaded art. Let's go.
This year, I'm less concerned with who wins, because there are so many people that deserve it. And more concerned with, I think the more interesting conversation is going to be who doesn't make the cut, because there are at least 10 to 12 actual deserving nominees.
Right.
So
I agree.
So who's not going to make it? Because if you tell me that Mario Wonder or Tears of the Kingdom or and I haven't played this game, so SloMo, you can speak to this, but Baldur's Gate wins, I'm not going to say anything, because any of those games could deserve it, right? But who is deserving is not going to make the list, and that I think that's a better discussion this year. I don't think it matters who wins.
No, I agree.
I do agree about that. Although I would like to get back to the topic.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm
hey, that topic was 20 years ago. What was it?
And we're still going to do the topic, Forte, after I get these super chats out. Ramon Terrell.
Hey, we get more super chats. This a day of days.
Ramon Terrell with the $5 super chat. Trifecta of awesome. Shout out to SloMo for keeping me sane on the PC. You're welcome, sir. Forte, slander Horizon again, and I'll do something terrible to you in my next book. He gonna write you in the book just to kill you off. That I love it.
Listen,
Trevor Bird song. Yeah, that man, he good. That boy good.
You wanna know a funny story about that, Ramon? So what we do in each of our Kickstarters, we have like a tier that if you donate to that thing, we'll add you as a character in the book. So for Ariel's Adventure Chapter 1, we had like 6 people that jumped into that tier. So we made 6 characters to put in Ariel's Adventure Chapter 2, all villains who don't win their fights. I'll say that. So we put everybody in
to kill them off. It's funny.
I feel like
because you put them in another issue that they're going to be coming to you for residuals. So
exactly. Hey man, you using my likeness, using my name, and made me a main character. Hold on now. Like, wait a minute. All right, get rid of them.
I feel like I need to go back and play some more Code of the Lamb and sacrifice some people.
Oh boy.
You trust me, most of the people in here, they got a character in that game for me, and I do have favoritisms. So
yeah, shout out to BK Born, the $10 super chat. BK says, SloMo, don't you struggle to stay awake for any game at this point at your advanced stage. Shout out to you, though, homie. Much love. Shout out to BK Born, who gets carried in Fortnite on a daily basis. That man has got like all his friends. Shout out to Eric Empire, Audible, Eric Cuts for the win. All of them have like backpacks with like BK Bourne's name stitched in it because it's like it's his spot. It's like this is only for him, and he just jumps back in there and they just carry him to victories. It's absolutely amazing. They're such great friends to him. Shout out to BK Bourne. Now back to God of War. Who is going? I'll start with you, Forte. Are you going to get this DLC?
Yeah, it's the only reason I bought a PlayStation is for God of War. So I'll buy it.
Did you beat Ragnarok?
I did finally after 3.5 months. I want to say back in August. I beat it finally.
Okay, all right. So you finally beat it. So you're gonna get the DLC. Like, are you? I don't. I guess it's we can talk about spoilers. Where do you see them going with the story?
I mean, first of all, how did you feel about?
It's gonna be an Angraboda story with Atreus, right? That's what it's gonna be. Like,
but I mean, that was the most boring part of the actual game, though. When them just frolicking along, with the whole little, do I like you? Here's a note. Do you like me back? Circle yes or no. Like that was like. Nah, fam.
Okay. All right. Wait a minute. So that's one avenue, right? Unless they're gonna follow Kratos and him dealing with what's the dwarf dude whose brother died?
I forgot his name, but yeah.
His turn to the dark side, right? Like, but I still think they're gonna have this guy handle it because it's kind of Atreus' fault anyway.
True. I think it'll definitely be focused on Atreus more than Kratos. I can see that for certain.
Now, SloMo, let me ask you a question. I think that the more interesting question is: are they going to package this up by itself? And are you going to have a stroke when people call it DLC?
Well, this is question.
Yes, the answer is yes on both accounts.
but SloMo. As much as a God of War fan I am, they're telling you it is DLC.
No, it's as of now what it's playing. It's
no,
if you own God of War Ragnarok, hold on. If you own God of War Ragnarok, this would be a part of that. Like you wouldn't be able to just buy this separately and be able to play it. But they are thinking about doing what they've done in the past, where they add more content to it and then separate it out and make it its own thing. And now that's what we're.
So let me ask you this: did Miles Morales really
stop it?
Let me ask you a question: did Miles Morales really need to be separated away from 2018?
With everything, if you did everything in that game, it probably took you about like 16, 17 hours. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, look, there's some other games that I played and I beat in less time than that. Right,
exactly. But the biggest thing for me is they telling you that's what it is. My question is, how much they gonna charge you? Are they gonna charge you $70 for this?
No, yeah. Look, if this thing becomes its own standalone game, they're gonna charge. What did they charge for Miles Morales at retail? What was that?
70 because they get it
No,
was 70.
No, it wasn't. I can talk about this, right?
No,
SloMo,
wasn't it the PS5? No,
that wasn't the only version.
No, the PS4 version was the $59 version, but if you got the PS5 version was
you talking about the version that comes with Spider-Man Remastered was $70.
But they didn't sell a version of that, did it without it, didn't they? Did they?
Yes, they did. Yeah, they did.
Are you
sure? It was $50, right? And I said this to you, SloMo.
I'm about to look right now.
You jumped down my throat, pause. But I said the reason I was just trying to understand how that DLC talk got started, and you were so focused on the fact that it was fanboys being fanboys. But I'm just trying to understand the etymology of why people call that specific title a DLC. And I said it is because it is a shortened length, and they let you know from the rip that it wasn't a full thing because they didn't charge $70 for it. The starting price was $50 for that game, right? Because they knew their other full games were $70, but that one was $50 because it was less than in terms of length.
No,
are y'all 100?
Wait.
Are y'all 100% sure that there was a PS5 version of Miles Morales by itself?
I'm not calling the game a DLC, by the way. I am just trying to get to the bottom of how that
was.
Started.
That digital only or something?
I don't know. I just know it was sold for $50. Now to Everborn, to answer your question, the game I'm showing now, which is also part of this topic, because it has a confirmed DLC coming out later this month. Remnant 2. You know that wasn't the full price game?
How much was it?
I think it was Forte, wasn't it 50?
Yeah, 50. No.
$50.
No, it was 6. It was 59. 59. It was 89 if you got the other version.
That's
the 89. 89 is like
the
what
Ultimate Edition.
With the 3 DLCs or whatever they're coming out with it. So that the base version of the game is not a full price game. And this game is literally, if it's not just as long as Remnant 1, it's longer. Pause.
But again,
the length of a game has nothing to do with whether it's DLC or not. The only thing that determines a game is DLC is whether it's packaged with another game.
Remnant. Wholeheartedly agree. That's not what the debate is, right? The debate is it was lower priced than full price games. It was using
less
largely the same, less content, and in the same game world. So using the same, at least, environment assets as its predecessor, right? And that is why, and it was a side character that you were playing as. So it's a spin-off, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's how sequels are made. You build on that and you add mechanics. That's fine. I'm just trying to say that's how the narrative got started. Not that I agree with the narrative.
Okay, that's fine. As long as you recognize it's not DLC. Forte.
Listen, yes. I'm not even gonna play it.
Forte, Remnant 2. I already know your answer with this. Are we going back?
I bought the Ultimate Edition, sir. You already know I'm in there.
Yeah.
Day one. I'm the one that sent you the trailer.
Right. Now, well, actually, I sent it to you first. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway,
sure. So,
and Luca is down too. So the trio is going back to body these bosses again. But again, they had another trash ending with Remnant 2. The same way they had a trash ending with Remnant 1.
We got what is there 3 times over?
But I mean, is this DLC
game, or is it mostly for multiplayer?
It is. Well, it's not really.
It's PvE.
It's PvE, yes, and it's really more about that. It's like a Souls foundation of a game with guns and very difficult bosses, and the bosses are very, very unique. Like the bosses are awesome.
Boss gave me
And
epilepsy at the end of the game.
yeah, and you playing it solo is probably the hardest non-Souls game that in the Souls genre, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's just so much fun, and the way you can have different builds and kind of combine them together with different with like a different discipline, like a medic with a gunslinger, that kind of thing. Like it really works. They definitely improved upon the first game in literally every way, except story. The story, no one plays Remnant for the story. The story stinks. The story doesn't make any sense, and they don't even attempt to make it better. The end of the game is like everyone dies. That's hey, look, the game been out since the summer, so if you didn't know, you didn't know.
Yeah, but thanks for that.
Oh, sorry. Hey, are you gonna play DLC? The game you didn't start yet? But no, I just kind of wonder if the DLC is going to be something that you could play in the middle. Let's say Everborn, you start playing the game, and then like how some DLCs are, where you hit a certain level, and then it allows you to play that game at that point, like that DLC at that point. Or if this is something where it continues the story after it's over. Like Ragnarok's DLC likely would be a continuation upon the story. Whereas I'm not sure if that's the same with Remnant, especially with the way it ended, with like literally everything just ceasing to exist. I don't know. Forte, what are your thoughts on? Everyone, go ahead. Go ahead.
That doesn't sound like terribly uninteresting in terms of story, right? Like the world end.
Well,
that's a bold choice. I think that's interesting. I have no idea what the context is, but when you say it, like they went for it, okay, right?
I mean, they're
happy ending.
Yeah, there are some interesting elements to it. So, like in the first game, there's this thing called the rot or whatever, and it's just like spreading all across the world. And you go to this like this desiccated husk of a island and city to try to stop it. And long story short, you find out like this government was experimenting with people and abilities, and literally the root. I forgot. It's called the root, but it's like this basically a corruption that is killing the planet. And it literally all came from one guy's imagination. They kept experimenting on him. He had these crazy powers. At the end of the game in Remnant 1, you kill the guy. And then you think it's over, but then the entire island kind of starts to shake apart, and then your character abandons everyone and leaves, which is like, that's why the first ending sucks so badly. Now in the second one, you think you're in the same world, but the actual like plot twist is that there are these like a multiverse of parallel dimensions, and you travel throughout these dimensions, killing these bosses and trying to destroy the root that has spread to all these different dimensions. And in the end, you actually go back to, this is the cool part, you go back to the first world of Remnant 1 to deal with the root in that world. And that's awesome. It's just that in the end, you realize, I can't stop it. so it's just like I did all this.
Isn't that a metaphor for all of our impeding sort of passing of existence, right? You could try all you want, try as you might. Destiny is still destiny. It will come for you, right?
Look, Everborn, you out here trying to flex your little writing muscles and whatnot because you write comics. Look, I know you think this is cool because you haven't experienced it. I'm telling you, when you get to the end of the game, you're gonna be like, nah, that wasn't it, bro. Like that was not it. What are y'all doing out here?
Execution
and so like
is everything.
Yeah, execution is that like it sounded great on the storyboard, and then they made it, and they were just like, yeah. So, but I'm excited for the DLC. I can't wait to kind of get back into it. I already got it reinstalled, so as soon as the 14th, well, actually the 15th, because Lucas said she can't play on the 14th. Well, on the 15th, We're gonna jump back in it. Maybe I'll
We in
live stream
there.
some of it. You definitely can listen to me and Luca arguing with each other over what to do about a certain boss or whatever. So it's gonna be
let
lit.
me ask you guys a question, right? Because
Yeah.
the way my schedule is set up, right?
Your shit
Mhm.
schedule.
I do the corporate thing during the day. Me and the missus run a business, and I have a certain amount of time. I think I have time to complete about 2 more games this year.
Hmm.
What do you recommend about the next 2 games that I play? And I
You
wanna
mean
tell what
after
I
the
have
current?
not-
You mean after the current games you're playing?
No, because anything can jump the list, right?
Okay.
So let me tell you what I have started but not finished.
I would say, what do you actually have?
Yeah. So I mean, I don't mind picking up anything, but like, so Spider-Man, Alan Wake 2, Diablo 4. I'm never gonna play any seasons, but just the main campaign. I've beat like 4 of the bosses in Tears of the Kingdom. I got like 45 hours in that game, so I think I'm close to being done. And then there's I bought Armored Core and Street Fighter 6 and never even downloaded them. I'm a few hours into Jedi Survivor, but put that down when Zelda came out. I don't need to play Resident Evil 4 Remake again, even though I bought that and started it. But like I played it before. The graphics are nice. I get it. Between all of those things that I mentioned, those are just things that I own right now and just either never started or whatever. And then there's some things coming out by the end of this year. Also, Cyberpunk, pay for that DLC, didn't play it. What do you recommend if I only have time to finish 2 games? That's 1 game for November, 1 game for December.
That last thing you just said changed one of my. I would say finish Spider-Man 2 and then do Phantom Liberty, because Phantom Liberty is next. I'm gonna go finish Phantom Liberty once I finish Jedi Survivor. I'm like near the end of Jedi Survivor, so I'm gonna finish that and then uninstall that, and then I'm gonna get back into Phantom Liberty because Phantom Liberty is freaking awesome. But yeah, definitely complete Spider-Man 2 and do that Phantom Liberty, because you beat Cyberpunk back when it first came out.
Yes.
So yeah, like there's a lot that you have missed. They have done a lot of rebalancing.
Is all I want to know.
I have no idea, but I would probably say doubt it, because this DLC Phantom Liberty can be done once you hit like level 15 or something like that, or maybe level 10, somewhere in between 10 to 15 in the game. You can do Phantom Liberty, so more than likely it doesn't really affect the ending.
The only reason I'm not gonna say Zelda is because it's probably for one of the same reasons I didn't beat it right away. Is because, are you waiting for all the DLC to be out before
Not
you
at
finish
all.
that game?
Not even a little bit. I'm gonna be
you need to finish that game then. You need to you ain't too far away, bro. Just go ahead and knock that game out. Cause that's what I did. I am right at the end of the game. So I didn't finish it. I'm just waiting for DLC to come out, because once I do that DLC, I'm done.
Okay.
Done. But I did the same thing with Breath of the Wild. I got everything done that I wanted to get done, and then just waited for the DLC. And then once the DLC was out, because it kind of is tied into the story, and then I beat the game after that. But if you're not interested in the DLC, then just beat that game and get it out the way.
I'll tell you a funny story about Breath of the Wild. SloMo, I know you're trying to move us on and we're slowing you down. This is my fault.
It's okay.
But Breath of the Wild, I did all of the shrines, got all of the towers, got the Master Sword, beat all the bosses, got all the friends, got up to Ganon's castle in the end, and said I was going to wait. And literally to this day, to this Deontay Wilder day, have never gone back.
What?
Yep.
So you haven't officially beat the game yet?
I have not officially, and I have well over 100 hours, maybe 150
So
hours.
at this point, you probably forgot how the game plays.
Yes, I did. I had to learn again with Tears of the Kingdom, and I didn't want to wait and go back and do that. So,
oh man, go knock that out, man. Ganon is a pushover at the level you're at.
Yeah. Do you even need the Master Sword to beat Tears of
No.
the Kingdom? Because I don't have it yet, and I've beaten 4 bosses.
No, you don't.
Interesting.
The Master Sword. I mean, but you can get the Master Sword within the first hour if you do it right.
Yeah, you got.
You know where the Master Sword is,
it's
right?
in the hidden forest, but like I haven't built up any stamina.
No, I'm talking about in tiers. You know where the Master Sword is in tiers, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, okay.
But I haven't built up any stamina. I've been putting all of my my shrine. You do the shrine, you get the things, and then you go pray to.
You could get that sword earlier in the game and not in the forest, right?
I did not know that.
That is amazing.
I'm not gonna wait. Hold on.
I'm just
gonna say this. The intro screen for Tears of the Kingdom, if you pay attention, you can see where you can get the Master Sword from in the very beginning of the game. Like as you're falling, you see it off in the distance, and that's the only key. That's the only clue I'll give you.
Okay.
You could get to
Enrique has a question for you, Forte. $2 super chat from Enrique. He says, "Will Forte relapse?" And I think what he's talking about is Destiny. Right? Yeah.
No.
So
what's a relapse? What's relapse?
Go back to Destiny.
Well, yeah. I mean, if he means relapse in June of next year, yeah. But after June of next year, I'm officially done.
Okay.
Forte?
We'll see about that.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, I don't believe him either.
And I just did the hand movements.
You don't believe me?
Will Ferrell.
So just to put some context on it. Last season of Destiny, my seasonal rank on that game was 21. My average season rank in all Destiny DLCs, ever since they started doing battle passes, was well over 250 levels. My last season was 21. This season, 33. And I just don't enjoy the grind. I love the game. I don't enjoy the grind no more. But I have to see it to an end. So I'll come back in June of next year.
Oh my gosh. True Serum said just one more line and I'm done.
Yeah, listen. That's if you go. The funny thing is, if you go, as mad as all these people are, we're gonna talk about it more at the end. But as mad as these people are at Bungie, all you keep hearing them say is, "I'm only staying through the final shape and I'm done."
Yeah, that's what everyone said. Yeah. But y'all are all crackheads. So I know you can't trust what the crackheads say. So anyway. Next topic
you stealing VCRs
I'm scratching
trying to
my
sell
neck.
cheeseburgers on the corner.
I'm scratching my neck.
Silent Hill Ascension has come out, and it is a massive disappointment. Silent Hill fans are really just dumbfounded by what the game is. Apparently, it's more of like a walking simulator narrative story game where you just vote on choices to make throughout the game. It's completely not what anybody who plays Silent Hill is looking for. It's developed by the same developer of Dead by Daylight.
Is this a mobile game?
No, I don't think so.
Wait a minute, what platforms is this game on?
Let me go double check. I don't know if this is a mobile game or not. It probably is also on mobile, but I don't know if it's exactly a mobile game. So I'm gonna double check this.
I didn't even know this game was out.
I got this article from PC Gamer, so I don't know. Like,
they review PC games. They review mobile games too.
Maybe it is just the mobile game, but this is. I mean, look, it's. The game itself isn't really the reason why I brought it up. Because I don't think any of us here really care about Silent Hill like that, right?
I don't think Konami cares about Silent Hill like that.
They sure don't. And just real quick, you are correct. It is only on mobile. So yeah, maybe that's also why it's that bad. But good grief. Do you know that the user score is a 0.1? Like it's a 0.1. Just the user score for this game is that bad. And more than likely, look, because Bloober Team, who did what's the name of that game that was on that came out that was time exclusive? The medium. That's it. Yeah,
medium. Yes.
Yeah. So
mid, right? That was a Freudian slip. You know what it was.
They're doing the more robust release of a Silent Hill remake. I absolutely believe they're going to completely bomb that. Sorry if anyone likes Bloober Team or someone from Bloober Team is listening. Right? No, not at all. I mean, actually, it's going to stink. It's going to be awful. It's going to smell like a gas station bathroom bad. So I think it's going to, because I don't think they're a good developer. I don't think they've ever made anything really good, and I don't think Konami really cares. They just want to.
I would agree with that. And isn't that the one that's like an exclusive to PlayStation?
I think it might be timed. I don't know for certain if it's exclusive or not. I think, they definitely, if anything, they have the marketing for it. So there's that. It hasn't officially been announced, but I've heard some rumblings that it's official, not announced, but shown or whatever, will be coming soon. Regardless of that, the reason why I wanted to bring up this topic at all, because it reminded me of the Knights of the Old Republic remake, and I've seen a lot of Silent Hill fans recently talking about just let it, don't even make this. I don't want to see this IP get drugged through the mud with just mid garbage like this. And that's how I feel about Knights of the Old Republic. So my question to you guys is, should some intellectual properties just stay dead if you're not going to be willing to really put the effort in to make it at least on par with what the previous games that people found or beloved to some fans are? Forte, I'll go with you first, man. What are your thoughts on that?
Silent Hill. Silent Hill. Does anybody really care about Silent Hill anymore still?
Silent Hill fans?
Like who? Where are they?
They're out there, man.
Where they're underneath Horizon? That's
not the question. Can you answer the question?
Are they underneath Horizon fans?
Can you answer the question? The question is,
three of them went out for a beer. They will be back in a little bit.
They'll be back for a minute. All right, ask the question again, SloMo. I'm sorry.
So basically, what you're saying, you weren't paying attention anyway. Everborn.
No, I was. No, I no. All right, go ahead, Everborn. Go ahead, answer the question.
Yeah, because he's going to figure out what the question is for you.
I'm going to tell you the only people that care about Silent Hill are the list warriors and you know what I mean? So it's like the Xbox fans that were mad that they were getting it, not PlayStation, and the PlayStation guys that pretended they cared about it because they thought it was an exclusive. Nobody cares about Silent Hill right now. The first movie was okay. The second movie was terrible. That's the last I remember of Silent Hill. And I don't know that I care to go back to it. And even if Kojima was making it, I still don't know if I'd care. So, and not to speak for everyone, but it's just not something you see on the timeline. On the timeline, you can't throw a rock without hitting the IP. People say we need to bring that back. I have scarcely heard anyone say bring back Silent Hill. And then we're hearing people say that Alan Wake 2 is the PT remake or sequel we deserved. So I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know that anyone cares.
I just
That's fine, but my question is, should some IPs just stay dead?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes,
thank you.
Yes, they did deserve to die, and I hope it burns in hell.
Yes.
That's
look, that's pretty much what we were saying. Like who was asking for Silent Hill?
Just say it. It's fine. Okay. Gaming Forte with the member chat, definitely not Forte here. Loving this pod slow. So it's a different Gaming Forte. Okay. Loving this pod slow. Well, thank you, different Gaming Forte. I appreciate that. So
you could have at least done that as nautical. Like
Trey, he's making it a little different. No, so here's the idea. Because Sonic is kind of dead. They keep making these. They keep making these
mid
mid games. They keep making. I'm saying they keep making these mid games of Sonic. Don't you just want to like think lovingly of the IP as it was back on the Genesis when it was awesome and people thought it was really a real competitor to Mario? Don't you like? You don't really want to see it in this state, right?
So I just have something to say to you, SloMo, and that is 1.66 billion. 160 more people downloaded Sonic and played a Sonic game, whether it was on their mobile device or PC or console, than have played any of your favorite games in the last 12 months. That's a fact, right? Now, the other fact is the box office of the last two Sonic
I play Fortnite.
movies,
I don't think it's more popular than Fortnite.
I'm just telling you that it's had over 166 million new people that downloaded that game. But again, we can ignore that if we want.
Sure.
We can ignore the fact that you can't go to a Target without seeing some Sonic merch. We can
ignore because no one's buying it. Netflix. You know, it's just sitting there on the shelf.
You can ignore the fact that you have Netflix shows and Paramount Plus shows, and they're working on the third Sonic movie in the franchise. And we can ignore the fact
maybe the third movie will help all three of those movies combined earn more than the Mario movie did.
That's a possibility, right? but let's not pretend that Sonic is an IP that's on its last leg. Sonic is making more money and thriving more than it ever has been. That's all I'm trying to say to you, sir. And I'll bet you this. More people are going to play that new Sonic game on Apple Arcade than will play Mario Wonder. You know what? I'm not going to make that bet. It's not a bet. It's just a prediction.
If you say so, buddy. Now, look, here's another way to ask this question. If they brought back an IP, but they made it a different genre than what the original IP was played in, and it's awesome, like it's a well done version of that different genre, would you be fine with that? Like, let's say, for example, if they brought, let's use Silent Hill. They brought Silent Hill back, but it's more action oriented. It's not necessarily survival horror. It's maybe like how Alan Wake, so supposedly, because I ain't seen it yet, got a little more action in it than the first game. What if it's like more of like a Resident Evil kind of game? Would that be okay?
Here's the thing. I think the best way to tackle bringing back completely old IPs that need to be completely reworked is you have a team that's probably working on a different game concept, like for a new IP, and then you say, hey, we can get an initial buzz or audience by attaching some old dormant IP to it, right? So, you know, if you were happening to make a survival horror game, then you can just snap the Silent Hill branding on it with some nostalgic art assets in it, and then say this is your new Silent Hill, but it didn't really start out as that, right? So I think you have to find the game first and say, hey, what IP could we fit into this, and throw it on there, and that will give you an initial buzz that maybe you would not have gotten otherwise with just a brand new no-name IP.
Interesting. Forte, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Go ahead. Finish. No, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
I was gonna say, like, Outriders. If you took Outriders and you said, hey, okay, this is a Gears spinoff, right? I think it would have done better just off the Gears name. Not that Gears is like on its last legs as an IP, but I'm just saying, pick some other old IP that people remember, and then throw it on some other game, like let's say an Outriders or something like that. And then you can bring back that IP, but really and truly it's just a new game that the studio is working on.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Although Outriders, I think people kind of marry Gears and Outriders together because People Can Fly has made a Gears game before. But if you kind of like, you can see some elements of Gears in it with some of the cover shooting, but the actual like gameplay story, the powers, all that other stuff is so different. But yeah, I see what you mean. Like if you want to try something different and you got actually a pretty good game design concept that you're working on, kind of like maybe, see what you can do by kind of like marrying it with a existing IP that people have a lot of like warm and fuzzies about when they hear it, and they may be a bit more interested in actually going ahead and doing that.
I looked at. I actually really liked Outriders.
I did too.
The opening story was very interesting, like for a sci-fi story. People traveling to a new world and things like that, and then all the stuff that happened or whatever. But I really saw it as like an evolution of what because I think Gears does need to evolve, and I thought that was doing a lot of things that I thought would be logical progressions, not narratively, but like just the gameplay style that could be worked into a Gears franchise. So I thought it was
I don't think we get that from Gears until after Gears 6. I think they're going to finish out this trilogy and maybe make it a little bit more open world because they introduced the open, like I think in Act 3, they introduced a little bit of like an open world aspect in Gears 5. And then maybe they do a little bit more of that in Gears 6. But whatever the next Gears game is, I think it needs to be in the Gears universe, but it'd be different gameplay and it'd be probably have a different name.
I got a different idea for the future of Gears. Not that that's what this question is about, but since we're talking about it, I could see after Gears 6 the stars aligning and you giving Zack Snyder the rights to make the film. I think he'd be perfect for it, right? He wants to do it. He's friends with Batista. Make Batista Marcus Phoenix. And then by the time it'll take him 2-3 years to make film, edit that, right? Release it on Netflix or something like that, or in theaters. And Zack Snyder, he may not have understood the DC material, but that is his bread and butter. I think the tone that Gears is. So I think he would be like, for his style, he'd be perfect for that, right? So you do that, and then instead of following other characters, you reboot it. You reboot Gears like Cliffy B wants to do. I don't know if you get him to advise, but people
probably not. Probably thanks Cliffy, but no. Yeah.
But you reboot the whole thing, and the base of it is that and Zack Snyder and whoever he gets to write it can give you a base to start from. And they can work with the coalition. That's what I'd like to see after Gear 6. But Gear 6, I just want that to melt my face with the graphics, and we'll finish that story.
It probably be will. They the coalition has always been pretty spot on the money with Unreal Engine and visuals. Shout out to someone named Nautical with the $5 super chat. Said, did someone say my name? My hearing stretches across vast landscapes. This guy's a weirdo. Wow. There's a lot of IPs that should stay dead. Maybe Sonic should be at the top. Wow. This guy Nautical's got a lot of slander. A lot of slander tonight for Sonic, which is, not uncommon. There's always slander for Sonic.
Man, what's going on? Why everybody don't like Sonic, man? Come on, Forte. Come on, Nautical, man. You can't be like that, man.
Look at you with the Freudian slip.
Can't help himself. All right, so look, we can move on to the next topic here. This one is about Xbox and some changes that are going to go into effect, I think on the 14th of November.
Yeah, the 13th? They should have did this years ago, but yeah.
Yeah, so Microsoft is now going to be banning unlicensed third-party controllers and accessories, and this became a really big hot topic in the community for a number of reasons. And there are people who are on one side who are for this because they believe, at least they're hopeful, and I am somewhat hopeful of this too, that this will help curb curb some of the cheating of people using stuff like is it called XIM, and Strike Back. What's the other one called, Forte? Because you guys sell those things, right?
Cronus Zen.
That's it. Cronus Zen and the whole Zim thing and Strike Back stuff. Yeah. So like essentially, but there's also this thought process that even though this is a nice attempt to try to curb that it really won't, because those devices are undetected by Xbox, and Xbox just believes its only thing that's connecting is the actual controller that the cheater is using. So I don't know. Hopefully it works. I don't know. But the other side of it are the people that are upset, or the fighting game community and the racing community who use all kinds of various different configurations of steering wheels and fight sticks to play their games.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If you are using these like very serious steering wheels and fighting sticks, which makes perfect sense. Why? So one thing about this story, I know the headline is spicy, but they're also expanding that certification process, so it's a lot easier to get your device certified. But the other thing is, shouldn't you be playing on a PC if you're like that hardcore with the flight sticks and the driving setups? And I don't know. That's not to like say that this is okay, but I would just usually when I think of the people that are like playing that hardcore, they're playing on PC.
Yeah, I mean, although, okay, for example, and shout out to Autumn. We had Autumn on a few weeks ago, and Autumn was giving us all like just great analysis of Forza Motorsport. Autumn's big into racers and simulation racers, but she also only plays with a controller. And she doesn't use a steering wheel, but I can imagine if she has like a special controller that just works great for racing, then maybe it's not licensed or something, that this could be somewhat problematic. I think when it comes to, and I'm not into the fighting game scene like that or racing, but a lot of people get very particular about their device that they play games with. And I'll speak for myself. I don't like to play first person shooters or any shooter with just anything. I like to play with the controller that I am using at the moment because I'm comfortable with it. I'm comfortable with my setup with it. I'm comfortable with like going into, and of course I'm on PC, like the accessories app and changing what the button layouts are. I have profiles for each individual game that I play in multiplayer with. And when I am like, say, not playing with that controller, I'm still good, but I'm uncomfortable. And so when I'm uncomfortable, then I'm not at my best. And I can see how some people will be upset about this, because even if maybe the unlicensed device they're using, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not licensed, and maybe it doesn't get licensed. They have to get out of their comfort zone and try something new and use something new that may end up causing them to just not be as good. Go ahead, Forte.
I was going to say, but the problem is that a lot of these non-licensed, accessories are problematic because
how so? You mean outside of the cheating stuff, the Cronus?
Even a lot of the other, like, because you got these third-party controllers that you can load software on too. You plug it up to your PC and you can still load up, software to it. I just think they just want to rein in their accessibility when it comes to like their overall, badge. They want to put the seal on it basically, and that's the fastest way for you to basically get rid of. You know what? To make it even easier to say, they just want to basically all of these like Zims and Cronus Max, they just ruined it for everybody else when it comes to third-party controllers.
Oh, absolutely,
Xbox was willing to let this ride until it became so problematic where you got all these different lawsuits out there. You know, Bungie has a myriad of lawsuits out there, all of these cheat softwares and these developers of this stuff. And this is something that's definitely I never knew it was such, you know, problematic on console until recently, probably like over the last year to 2 years. But that's instantly.
But I mean, but you were telling me about how like GameStop sells this stuff and you can't keep them on the shelves.
You can't but that's the thing though, because they're not banned. You can't. It's like.
But the thing is that people are using it, and so frequently people are using it that like they can't make enough of them for people to buy. So it's just like that just shows how prevalent the issue is. And I agree with Rails there below in the chat who says anyone who's against this is I don't agree with I don't think everyone that is against this is a cheater. Just people who don't play in shooters who are against this because of their fight stick or their racing wheel. They got their own interests at heart, which is fine. But I feel like this needs to happen because you gotta find a way to get rid of the cheaters, because the current method of anti-cheat and like Call of Duty has Ricochet, there's easy anti-cheat for a lot of other different online communities and live service games. It's all playing catch up.
Yeah, but it's not.
It's
really
all trying to catch up to what the cheaters are doing, and it's not effective.
But see, that's the thing, though. It's not really. See, they threw out a blanket statement. There's not really too many controllers or steering wheels or fight sticks. I don't think there's really any that doesn't have that emblem on it that says, you know, support or, you know, designed for Xbox on it. It's not. I haven't really seen a controller. Even if you think about all of these people that do these custom controllers, like think about Scuff. Scuff doesn't do custom. Their controllers are actual Xbox controllers. Like they actually buy the Xbox controllers and they're the official ones, and they just do customizations to them.
So what are you saying, that there's not enough people to even care that there are people upset about this?
No, it's not enough, because the biggest thing is they're trying to stop people from using add-ons to their controllers. Like that's what the Zim is. Like the Zim is basically a interface that you put in between your controller and your system. And it's the same thing with the Cronus. It's an interface. So they're saying and most of those interfaces are, you have to plug them into your console. That's what they're talking about. It's like when you plug it in, they're saying, hey, this is not recognized as, you know, official Xbox product. So even if you're using a wireless Xbox controller, and you plug it in with the USB-C cord, and you plug it into a Zen, it's going to show that accessory is not valid, because it sees it before anything.
So there's a lot of talk out there, and Sean in the chat just mentioned it, that this banning of third-party devices won't stop the Cronus and the Zim. So what did you really? So if that is the case,
why won't it stop if it's not, unless it's officially licensed?
No, well, so the Cronus stuff isn't officially licensed.
That's what I'm saying. But if
the Xbox can't detect it.
Why can't it detect it?
Because it's never been able to detect it before, for what people are saying.
Well, maybe they found a way to detect it now.
Maybe they had, because this all supposed to go live with an OS update in a few weeks. So maybe they have figured a way to detect it. But
that's the only thing I think this could be. Is like like I said, there's not enough. There's hardly any third-party controller that is not officially licensed by Xbox. Like, you know, Xbox you can only get wireless controllers from Xbox because they haven't opened up the patent for anybody to use their proprietary technology for their wireless and their Bluetooth for it. So everybody's controllers outside of Xbox is all wired, and the majority of them, I haven't seen one that doesn't say that on there unless you build your own, and I don't know how feasible that is for a lot of people, but I just think that they found a way.
Starting to buy, man. You're starting to buy
to get around that interface.
Forte, you're biting again. You're biting again.
Before it sees your controller.
And this is
So
what he
that's kinda
gets
I'm
for
hoping
using
it
that
is.
soundboard.
I mean, if it's not,
Exactly. It's probably his soundboard that's messing him up.
What?
Forte, we didn't hear
happened?
nothing you said because you turned into a transformer on us again.
Oh, you know why? Because okay, I know exactly what happened.
It's your
My
soundboard.
laptop fell asleep, and
Blow it up.
no. It's my laptop. My laptop fell asleep, and that's what my audio for Discord is coming through now. Because remember, I'm recording on my PC, or not.
So you got to keep your laptop awake.
Yeah, I'm about to turn off the sleep cycle. That's what it is. Because I just as soon as you said it, I was like, because I can still hear you, but then as soon as you said, I looked at my PC and it was sleep. So
Okay,
that's what it was. Well, figured it out. But shut up! Don't call me Starscream no more.
All right, Starscream. So, well, look. I guess we could. I know Everborn, you don't really play. Well, I mean, I guess this doesn't just affect people who play competitive games. I guess for Everborn. Yeah. Do you use anything like that's third-party accessories that's not just like official licensed stuff?
I mean, I have that $200 Sonic controller that comes with the charging base, but that was from Razer. But that's licensed.
That's probably official because Razer is Razer. Yeah. Even though Razer sucks, but yeah.
Yeah, wait, there's a $200. Oh, is it the one that came with the little charge station?
Yeah.
The little charge stand. Oh, okay, I know which one you're talking about. Of course, you would buy that $200 controller.
You knew damn well I would buy that.
You do realize that controller was on sale for $79.99.
Yes, I do.
This...
I do.
Okay.
I do realize it, and I didn't buy it at that time because I was like, I don't need that. And then it was like $200, and then people kept tagging me when it came out, and I got so tired of people tagging me. I was like, let me just buy this controller so everybody can shut up. But anyway, I love the controller.
It's a nice looking controller, I will say that.
It's not worth $200 though. I'll tell you that right now.
It's
worth definitely ain't worth $200.
It's worth $79.99. That's what it was worth. That's why they dropped the price of it so fast.
So that's the only controller you have that isn't like a Microsoft made controller.
For Xbox, yes, because I use that and I use the Starfield controller. And I use the Steel Series headset. So that is licensed. I know for a fact.
Right. Yeah,
I
it
have
is.
the
Yeah.
Astro A50s, but those are actually terrible. Sound quality is great, but connectivity.
I will say that is true.
Firmware update, like
you're like the third person that I've heard say that. Yeah.
There's the software is garbage. So Steel Series is what I'm recommending everybody. Well,
Steel Series is pretty much mostly what I use right now. I have Arctis 7s on right now on my PlayStation. I got the 7 Plus P Plus. And I don't have one on the Xbox. I have a Lucid sound on that one right at the moment. But
yeah, I upgraded to the new settings.
I'm using the Starfield headphones, which are actually better quality and have way less.
With the terrible mic on it.
Yeah, but I don't talk to people.
Yeah,
you know I don't
that mic stinks.
But the audio quality is actually better than the base Xbox headphones, which are also equally garbage. But I like the Starfield headphones. You know, it makes the sound of your ship when you turn it on.
Yeah, does it crackle? You know, does it crackle? Does it crackle when your shit car? Does it make the same sound animation?
Loading screen. No.
You want to know what really tickled me? Pause. When I was playing Battlefield and I bought the Battle Pass, and they made you bought the Battle Pass on Battlefield, right, SloMo?
Yeah.
When you buy the Battle Pass, it plays the epic Battlefield music, and it's all loud and bassy. It's like do. I was like, yo, I'm in love because I love that music. But music is great, man. When you hear it in games.
Let me ask you guys a question. So
ask away.
The new thing that people are talking about is when you turn on your Xbox right now, apparently there's a big Modern Warfare 3 ad.
Oh boy.
Is
are
it?
saying that is
Yes.
intrusive. You're
Let me
already
look.
paying
I'm
for
cutting my Xbox
there's
on
already
now.
Ads on the dashboard, and now they're just showing you this thing.
Let me look at it. My Xbox. I'm turning it on now to see.
Is that an issue?
Holy crap!
Well, did you hear that? I would say that's probably an issue, Everborn. We just got a live viewing of that. So
it literally doesn't even take you into the dashboard. It literally, the first thing it shows is buy now, get the vote edition, or exit. You literally have to hit a button to go into your game, to go into your system.
They are saying we spent $70 billion. We're gonna let you know everything.
They did the same thing when
I wonder if it does it every time you do it.
Right?
When what?
The June showcase? Like when you turned on the Xbox, that's the first thing they showed you. Like the June Xbox showcase, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they do. This is not something new that they do. They've been doing this recently. They did the same thing for Starfield. So I don't see this as an issue, and I don't see this as something akin to the Windows team putting ads in the start screen or on your desktop. That's egregious. I just think for a first-party game, them telling you about a game that everybody's looking at, I don't like. It's a slippery slope, yes, right? But I don't think this is an issue. And maybe I'm just a rabid fanboy. I don't know.
No, Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, honestly, it's not a big deal. The only reason I reacted the way I reacted is because if I had turned my Xbox on by myself and like just turned it on, I would have saw it. I'd have been like, oh, okay. Then I would just hit escape. I mean, I only reacted because it was like I didn't know that it was there. We were talking about it. And I'm like, good God. But I also think that's the biggest thing too. A lot of people react to things just to say they're outraged about it in a setting like this. Other than that, it's like,
so are you saying you faked that outrage, Forte? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm just saying
because that's what it sounds like you just did.
No.
It sounds like you're saying you faked the outrage just now, just because we're in quote unquote the setting that we are.
No, this is what I'm telling you.
Everborn, is that what you heard? Because that sounds like that's what I heard.
Can I finish saying what I was going to say? I'm not saying you're not wrong about that. What I'm saying
I'm right.
No, what I'm saying is I didn't think about it. I like, can I finish? I said what I'm saying is I didn't think about it the way that Everborn said it until he talked about
All right.
Yeah, Everborn. Everborn. He gonna kill me in a cage. He gonna kill me in one of my characters. He gonna listen.
That sounds like a porn name, Everborn.
I've been called worse.
Oh my God.
Hey, listen. All I know is ever since when he said that kind of hit for me, because I do remember when Starfield did that. And I was like, oh, okay. And I just went by it. Same thing with the event when Xbox did their showcase. It was on that day when you turned your Xbox on. Actually, it was after that because we did the stream. And when I went to turn my Xbox on, it showed it because it was the first time I turned it on that day. And it wasn't a big deal. So, but that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of people have that reaction because their friends are like, hey man, this is kind of intrusive. Why are they doing this on the dashboard? I just want to get into my game. I'm like, dude, it's literally one button to get out of there. It's not like they're showing you Silent Hill Ascension on the screen, right? It's not a big deal.
And you gotta watch 30 seconds of it before the prompt comes up to say dismiss. That would be like, hey, look,
hostage in the ad,
hey, guess
right?
what?
Like, hey, look, you better cut that out. Like that would be problematic.
And guess what? It's going to work too. It's going to work. A lot of people are going to buy it right off that screen. They'll be like, I might as well buy it now.
I'm going to tell you right now. That's the reason why I put my poll up, because I almost bought a game that I had no interest in because of that thing. Marketing works. Who knew?
It does.
Let me tell you that. Like I'll say my piece on it real quick. I haven't turned my Xbox on to see it yet. But I didn't hearing about it. I didn't think it was that big a deal because as a PC gamer, guess what happens to me every time I turn on?
Matter of fact, because PC gaming is garbage.
No, every time he turns on Steam, he gets that little. Every time he turns on
Forte
Steam,
knows.
he gets
That's
that
the
little
correct
box,
answer.
that little
Everborn.
box that has something
A
in it
PC
that
gamer
says,
knows. Yes. Every
Steam-
time I turn on Steam
It's
got 3 advertisements that
Yep.
pop up, a box that I gotta exit out of every
Yep.
single time.
every time.
So I am so indoctrinated in it that I'm just like it's nothing to me. I just would have said no and just exit out of it, and that would have been the end of it.
So to your point though, SloMo, I do think it's important to say like this. It's not a big deal. I actually think it's good marketing, and I like the idea because I didn't know COD was out today. So it almost prompted me to buy it
In early access, yeah.
Right.
You can only play the campaign, by the way.
Which is the only thing I would play. But I'm not paying extra for that, or I may not even pay for it because I'll wait till next year. But what I'm saying this to say that if they just say, okay, everybody's cool with this, then they're gonna say, well, why don't I add 2 ads? Let me put Call of Duty next year and then whatever the new Halo Infinite season is, right? And you know what? We got a Avowed coming out, so let's put that too. And then you got 1, 2, 3. Yes, slippery slope, but I'm not gonna stop anybody from saying this is wrong because again, that space is very valuable and they will use it as much as you let them. Like a lot of people don't want to see any tiles. They want it to run like the PlayStation interface. We can see the whole screen. And the way for them to address that was just to make the tiles smaller because they absolutely have to show you the advertisement tiles in the second row, right? Because it's that space is too valuable to give up. So
I do understand what you're saying about the whole slope thing, because what if other third-party publishers see that Xbox is doing that now for their games and they just pay Microsoft whatever Microsoft wants to do the same thing. And so now when it's not just because like the 3 times you mentioned that this has happened has been Xbox related first party kind of thing. The Xbox Summer Showcase, Starfield, and then Call of Duty, which is all now first party games. But what if then it's just like, hey, the next one is, hey, Tales of Arise DLC is out now. And now that's the thing that's looking at that's they paid the money, and so you turn on your Xbox, bam, right in your face. It's Tales of Arise DLC. You didn't even buy the Tales of Arise base game.
You know what's gonna be it would be interesting if they had some analytics on what kind of games you like so they'd know what to recommend to you. That would be wise. I don't know if they're capturing that, but this is
it's called Edge.
Right, but they like that. I do think targeted ads in that way would be more interesting. But the line for me is if I see like a FIFA ad or like a Madden, right?
Really?
Like, yeah.
It's the same thing, though.
No, it's not. I hate sports. And,
no, it's the same.
It is the same thing. It is the same thing. It's a video game.
Like it.
You just don't like it. And that's why I brought up the Tales of Arise example. But I probably should. That's an RPG. You probably would play Tales of Arise. I should have brought up sports. So the thing about that. What if every time you turn on your Xbox, there is EA football, what's it called now? EA Sports Football 26 soccer, whatever the heck the name.
FC 24, man. Football.
Okay,
club,
there you go. There you go. Every time you turned it on, it's Madden and an EA soccer game in your face.
Yeah, no, can't do it.
Now you're already on the other side now. See, because think about the people who aren't even borderline interested in Call of Duty. They turned on their Xbox and they saw a big old Call of Duty ad for a game they don't care about.
Listen, I'll tell you this right now. If that FTC case went the other way and they didn't have and Call of Duty wasn't a first party, that would be a prime example of something they'd want to advertise. Because I'm someone who does not play COD. Like if it wasn't first party, I would be angry that this is on my screen, right? Just like full disclosure. So I get it, right? I get why people would do that. I just think they get a pass because it's first party. I don't know.
But what happens if they do a Game Pass ad on your desktop or your
They
console?
shouldn't do that if they know I have Game Pass, right?
But
It
it
has
happens
to
if
be
you don't.
smart.
If you don't have Game Pass, though.
Yeah, you should advertise it. Why not?
I mean, they're doing
it's
it,
right
but
there.
they're doing. You got to remember, they are making any of these games that they're selling outside of their first party. They're still making 30% profit, so it's in their best interest to get you to buy as many games on that console as possible. So if they want to do some targeted ads with somebody like Remnant 2's DLC, they want to start promoting the fact that Remnant 2's got DLC coming out, and they want to put the Ultimate Edition up there for whatever the price is.
Then you need to look at my gamer score and see if I've played that game and I put a lot of hours in it. And if so, then you should show me that ad, right?
What if hold on. What if the script is so poorly written that it
totally
takes forever? Right, it takes forever for them to go through, your purchase history and your gamer score and what you like to finally find the targeted ad. That it takes forever for your Xbox to turn on, all because marketing.
I think that's a doomsday scenario that's not really realistic, but sure.
Hey, the Xbox app is trash on PC, so I'm just saying. Hey, have they fixed the Xbox Record yet?
No.
Well, hold on a minute. You can import to Clip
What?
Champ.
No.
What?
No.
Who the heck is Clipchamp?
Everborn. No, wait, hold on. Everborn. The bit rate of that Xbox app when you record is absolute garbage.
Yeah. I'm not gonna fight you on that.
Do you know that on PlayStation, their bit rate is like substantially better for capturing? The fact that you can make the fact that you can make an actual video directly from your console and post it on YouTube is a slap in the face to Xbox, and they've been doing game DVR since the beginning.
They actually broke it when when they came out with the OS upgrade for this new generation, and I'm actually shocked that 3 years in they still haven't quite fixed that.
They ain't gonna fix it. It ain't fixed.
It must not be a priority for them. But yeah, look. But anyway, let's move on to this last topic. Let's get into it. This is what everybody been talking about this week, man.
As they
Bungie,
should.
yes, because Bungie sucks. That's why Bungie has delayed the 2 games that out of the 3 games they're making, the 2 that we know about, Destiny 2's Final Shape, which is likely the final expansion of this looter shooter 10-year game, has been delayed from February of next year to June. Forte?
Yep, to June
2024. And internally, they never actually gave us a release window for Marathon, but internally, they expected Marathon to come out in 2024. That has now been delayed to 2025. So, in addition to this, apparently, parent company Sony laid down the edict that they needed to do some layoffs due to the fact that Bungie has unfortunately missed their target revenue by 45%. And that apparently, by Bungie's own admission, is due to the current state of Destiny 2. The player base is really, really low. And pre-orders for the Final Shape are also really, really low. And this is something that they have been discussing internally at Bungie for a while now. And even though the developers were attempting to try to find ways to reverse this trend, Bungie leadership essentially told them, shut up and get back to work. We're not changing anything. Until now. Well, now they're changing a whole lot because they've laid off roughly somewhere in the range of 100 employees. a mix of newer employees who had only been there for 3 to 5 years or less, as well as veteran employees. And the hits came through all departments. So it wasn't just marketing, and it wasn't just the narrative team or the art department. Engineering got hit. Literally every game design, every department got hit. The team leads were not made aware of which of their team was getting laid off. And to really like hit the feels for the people who are Bungie fans, or at least been fans of a lot of the work that Bungie has done in the past. Michaels Salvatore, legendary musician and a guy who's done music for Halo as well as Destiny, was also laid off. He has been there with them from thick and thin for the very beginning.
1997.
1997. There you go. The other young lady, I can't remember her name. You got her name, Forte?
Oh my God, no, I have it right here, but no, I don't have it off the top of my head.
But there's forgive me for not being able to remember her name, but there's another young lady that has been at Bungie for 25 years, and she also has been credited as designing the Halo logo. She also was let go, and so here we are, and it's been a lot. All the Sony PlayStation studios have been impacted, but none of them have been impacted as hard as this one is with Bungie. And it seems as if Sony didn't tell them who to get rid of, but Bungie got rid of the people they had to get rid of in the most egregious way. And Pete Parsons, CEO of Bungie, some of his statements internally as well as externally have not been seen favorably. He said internally that they kept the quote unquote the right people.
Asshole.
Did not go over well. Externally talked glowingly about all the people that he just laid off with no notice, with only 1 day of coverage for some of their benefits. And also for those who had invested shares that they were supposed to be receiving a big payouts off of the acquisition to Sony, aren't going to get those. They're going to get percentages of those for the time period that they stayed with the company since the acquisition, but they're not going to get the full payout that they anticipated they'd be getting. So, Forte, since you are a resident Destiny fan, let us know your thoughts about this, sir.
This is disgusting. This is terrible. This is something that should not be swept underneath the rug. The fact that it's a lot of emotions mostly, and I always tell people like you're always going to be passionate about the things you care about the most. And it's not that I know and like know any of these individuals or anything like that, but it's a studio that I grew up with. Love is like one of my favorite studios of all time. Like I bought Destiny because of what Bungie was. And of course, over the course of years, I know Bungie hasn't been what Bungie was when it comes to the Halo days. But I liked the direction they were going in, and I was willing to go in that direction with them. I mean, I stuck with the game for over 9 years going into the 10th year. And it's always been promise this, promise that. But and it basically trying to marry the overall ability to enjoy their game along with other things. And the fact that I put so much stuff on a back burner for this game is kind of the thing that irritates me the most, because basically the last year and a half of this game has been borderline atrocious when it comes to just the overall scope and things that they've been doing in it. The Lightfall was basically added on DLC to like kind of buffer their story points because they weren't ready to release Lightfall. I mean, the final shape. The characters were kind of throwaway. The monetization on the game has went through the roof. You know, the fact that seasons now, if you don't buy if you think about seasons, or not seasons, if you think about just the game in general, Destiny was a $59.99 game. Then if you bought annual passes, it was $79. It was like that all the way until we got to Forsaken. Forsaken was $79.99. Then after that, when we got to Witch Queen to get the annual pass with the game was $89.99. So it was a $10 bump there. And then with Lightfall, it was $100. Now they raised the price of seasons. So if you didn't buy the expansions with all the annual pass and stuff, you had to pay $12 for the seasons instead of the $10 it used to be. But you have to buy it with their proprietary currency, which is silver. And guess what? They don't sell a $1,200 point silver option, meaning you can only buy the $15 version that gives you 1,800 silver. So they're making more money off of you there. And then on top of that, there's just so many other egregious things, like things that they promise the people when it comes to like what's going to be available in the game. The fact that most of the desirable cosmetics are something that you have to pay for. You know, it's just been this roller coaster ride of just emotions because people love and really enjoy the game. But it's like you feel like you're being super taken advantage of at this point. And that's kind of why I stopped playing the game, because I just didn't enjoy the grind on top of everything else over the last couple of years, over the last, let's say 6-7 months. But this is like completely different, because there was an article that came out where they told the fans, and they told their all of their employees that there will not be any loss of, you know, no reorganization of the company due to the acquisition that Sony acquired them.
They should have known right then they were dealing with bold-faced liar.
And you know what? And that's the thing that pissed me off the most, because why would you even come out and say that? Because the thing is, I will be the first one that I fight the good fight when it comes to Sony. I mean, not Sony, when it comes to Destiny, because I just stand on that hill. I'm pretty much like you are when it comes to Sonic. I love the game. I will fight for that fight, but I just can't fight that fight no more, because instantly, yes, Sony cannot tell Bungie what to do when it comes to their game, because they can publish their game, they can release their game where they want to. Their game is a third-party game. They are literally a subsidiary of Sony, next in line with PlayStation. So PlayStation can't tell them to do anything to do with their games, but Sony owns them. So Sony comes in and says, you're missing revenue by 45%. And even if they didn't tell them that you need to lay people off, they pretty much told them like, hey, you need to do something about this. And the first thing that has to go, and we all work in the corporate world, the fastest way to get, to recover revenue is what? Let people go, cut people's benefits, vesting schedules that people were supposed to get like up to 3 years worth of vesting, depending on how long you're with the company, cutting those people off. So even if they leave the company or they get fired, all the money that was vested that they don't get goes to Bungie's bottom line. It doesn't go back to Sony. It goes to Bungie's bottom line. So
Forte, that's the just not to, and you cooking right now.
No, go ahead.
But that's the
and
part
I got
that
one more.
I'm just having trouble understanding. We're saying it doesn't go back to Sony, but
no, because
Sony owns Bungie.
Okay, so Bungie, this is okay. Think about it like this: I give you, like, when I purchase you, I tell you I want to give you $10,000 to retain the writers for your book. I own you. I own you own your book, but I own basically the publication rights and stuff for it, but you still own the IP. But I'm gonna give you $10,000 to basically keep your staff on staff, because I don't want you to lose your talent. So, but it's on a vesting period. They have to stay with the company, say a year to do it. Say we have to fire people within 9 months. That means 9 months of that $10,000 is vested, and they can get whatever that payout is. Now, that money is still Bungie's money, because Sony gave it to them for the employees. So if those employees leave, That money doesn't go back to Sony. It goes to Bungie just for the fact that money was a gift to Bungie in general to basically for staffing reasons. And if they kept them, that money would go to the staff. If it don't keep them, it goes to Bungie's coffers. But
it's essentially the money for the vested shares is a different line item on the accounting ledger. It's not necessarily, let's say, the revenue generated from Destiny 2 and eventually Marathon. Overall, all of that stuff's going, funneled back up to Sony.
Bungie doesn't have to account for that money. They don't have to account for that money in our financial report to PlayStation, because that's money that's outside of what PlayStation is looking at. But guess what? But when that money goes back to the bottom line, it can go into the coffers for Bungie, and then they can allocate that money however they want to. And that money can be allocated.
Is this why even after the acquisition, their monetization model within Destiny has been egregious?
Oh yeah, it's definitely why it's been agreed, because they've been bleeding money. Think about Xboxes, when it came out from the release, the leaked documents and stuff like that. Bungie was being, courted by Microsoft. And it came out that Bungie's burn rate is ridiculous high. And when we mean burn rate, we don't mean the burn rate of how hard they work on their games, the burn rate of how much cash they go through. Like, that company burns cash like crazy because it is a monumental task for them to keep that game up and running. And that's why those projections are so off, because they expected higher pre-order numbers. They didn't expect the final shape to be as lowly received as it was, and they didn't expect people to be dropping off the game like they've been dropping off the game. They've been thinking people was gonna stick with the game because the final shape is right around the corner, and we're gonna have this huge crescendo where people are really, really excited for it, and that's not happening. And that is the biggest thing why those numbers are down, because they're spending more money than they're making on that game right now. And the last thing I want to say, because I do want to turn this over to you guys, because I'm real long with it, because it's irritating me. They put out they put out a statement on Bungie.net today, and it's called, and this irritated me when I read it. It said, "Our path forward, the Destiny 2 dev team. This has been one of the most difficult weeks in studio history as we parted ways with people we respected and admired. We spent this week supporting one another, including those who are at the studio, as well as our friends and colleagues who are no longer here. We want to acknowledge the feedback and concerns you have about Lightfall in the recent seasons, as well as the response to the reveal of the final shape. We know we have lost a lot of your trust. Destiny needs surprise and delight. We haven't done this enough, and that's going to change. To us, the path forward is clear. We need to make the final shape an unforgettable Destiny experience. We want to build something that will be regarded alongside the best games you ever made. A fitting culmination that honors the journey that you have been together for the past 10 years. Forsaken, the Witch Queen, the Taken King. These are the standard bearers we aim to live up to. We are intensely focused on exceeding your expectations for the final shape. Destiny 2 has more than 650 dedicated teammates pouring all their energy and expertise into delivering the epic moments. It used to be 750 epic moments and subsequent episodes. In the weeks ahead, we will be in the weeks ahead, you'll be hearing more from us about what's next on the short-term horizon, beginning with our next season in late November. Afterwards, you'll begin unpacking our team's bigger, bolder, and brighter version of the final shape, as well as the bridge we plan to build to take us out of this darkness and into the light. See you, Starside." What is that crap? What is all that fluff?
In the meantime, we will be on a yacht with this extra money that we took back from these people we fired.
Ain't nobody, dog. When I saw, I just seen this because I got tweeted it. So when I told you that, I may not buy Final Shape. This right here, listen, first of all, development is hard. The fact that it's being rumored that a lot of people are saying the Final Shape is good, but it's not great. I'm sitting there like, well, that needs to be great because that's the end of the saga. And they're saying delaying it by 4 months is actually going to make a difference. It ain't going to make no design difference. And now they're talking about, oh, we got changes for next season. Next season that's been worked on for 6 months. So what are you really going to change in that? So it seems so disingenuous hearing them say stuff like this, and it's all fluff. This whole article they just wrote is a bunch of fluff to try to pull the wool over people's eyes to make them feel like we're actually listening to you. No, they're not, because if they were listening to you, we wouldn't be in the situation we are in right now, honestly. But,
Forte,
somebody else, go ahead.
Forte, I have a question for you. Who signed that statement?
The Destiny 2 dev team. Nobody's name is on that.
Oh, yeah. The dev team. The same dev team.
The dev team that's left.
The same dev team that has been trying to change the game all year, and the leadership told them to shut up and get back to work. So that statement ain't worth the breath that you just spent using it. That statement means nothing. There needs to be a statement from actual Bungie leadership who caused all of this. Like, they're the reason why you're down 45% on revenue, on target revenue. They're the reason why they targeted the people that they targeted and showed zero loyalty to the people who've been loyal to them, like Michael Salvatore. And by the way, never be loyal to corporations. They don't care about you. You are a number. As soon as you are no longer effective, you are out of there. They do not care about you, and you shouldn't care about them. The corporation should not be anything that you should have any allegiance to. Just don't do it.
So, just what if the reason they had a miss on their 45% miss on their projections is because they gassed up their expectations in the acquisition talks with Sony?
They did. That's exactly what it was.
And so
I agree, 100%.
So in the same way, if we look at those court documents from the Xbox case, we saw that ZeniMax was like, oh yeah, Starfield will be out in 2021. And then we're going to have Redfall, and then we're going to have a new Doom game, and then we're going to have Elder Scrolls Remake and Fallout Remake. All of that will be out by 2023. You're going to acquire us, right? You're going to give us $7.5 billion, right? Bungie was like, yeah, we can help with your service games. We could train everybody, and we could make our game, and we could do the final shape. And I'm telling you right now, Forte, the final shape is not the end. They're going to do some Attack on Titan, where it's going to be like the final season part 4, right?
Well,
so,
right. I'm
so
done, man.
Everyone, what you're saying is definitely partially true. The other part of it is that this is the lowest. When people say the lowest the Destiny community has been in since like 2019 or something like that, they're not like, no, this is the lowest amount of people that have been playing the game in a very, very, very long time. This is the lowest pre-orders they've had for an expansion, and it's all kind of like a perfect or imperfect storm, however you want to look at it, of Lightfall, the previous expansion, being a massive disappointment, and then going into the year that 2023 is, which is practically begging Destiny players to go play something else. And the lack of content that Destiny has, the second job that it is when it's really going, now people was just like, you know what? I'll just come back when the expansion comes out. But now they're playing all this heat, and all the little second job things they do on a daily basis in Destiny don't seem that important no more.
Nope.
Now the final shape don't seem so important no more when you're playing other live service games that are actually delivering on the things that you want from it. When you're playing other games that you in your massive backlog that you missed out on while you've been crackhead stuck into this one game for years. I know people who, I'm talking about when I say like crackhead when it comes to Destiny, worse than Forte. One of my good friends, And this guy he just finished Horizon Forbidden West. He just finished Red Dead 2. He's playing all these games he hadn't played in years. He's playing Grounded with some of my fellas. He's playing Fortnite with his son. He is not thinking about Destiny no more. And he is not even, he keeps saying the same thing that Forte says. Oh, I'll go back for the final shape, but I'm done after that. I don't even know if he's really going to do that, honestly.
No, I don't even know now. They
took a L at the worst possible time, because there's all these games out here that their community is now enjoying, and in addition to potential games like the finals. The finals, I think, is boring, but the finals had like 500,000 people playing the beta the past weekend. The First Descendant came out last month. A ton of people were playing that. There is so much more competition in the live service arena than Destiny had when they first started this a decade ago, that they couldn't afford to be slacking and couldn't afford to be doing what literally, like, none of this stuff is a mistake. It's all by design. Me and Forte on this show, a year, was it? How long have they acquired? This is about 2 years ago then. 2 years ago, they had a Bungie developer at the Game Developer Conference. And he was doing a seminar on how to build a live service game and how to sustain a live service game in your community. And some of the things that he said alarmed us, because we was like, that's not what we want. And he was talking about literally stringing your community along with promises, but not always fully delivering, so that you always have extra content to give them breadcrumbs to keep them going.
And SloMo.
Yeah.
These are the people that got factions put on.
Exactly. That's all I'm about to get to. And that was, Jim Ryan must have been in the audience, because that was before they got acquired. They get acquired, and now these are the people with this ideology that are consulting on the live service games that Sony has got in their pipeline. There are a dozen live service games.
If you read that Jason Schreier report, I believe it was Jason Schreier that reported, didn't he say that the issue they had with it wasn't that it wasn't fun, but it didn't have the kind of player retention that they wanted?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
it was pretty much long-term engagement with the game. It wasn't there. Like, what would people be doing 3 months later?
In other words, because it wasn't stringing you along.
Yep.
Like what they talked about in the talk. You should have never told me this, man.
Yeah, look, I'm telling you, I've been talking about that. This is, and people say, SloMo, you're a Destiny hater. And partially, you're right, because I kind of can't stand Bungie because I used to be big into Destiny, and then I definitely got my my Matrix moment where I woke up and pulled the tubes out and jumped in and got out of the Matrix. But like, this is,
you know what it was for me, SloMo, with that with Destiny. So I have, I think, maybe 14 or 15 days in Destiny 1. And we were, I played it every day because, it's from the guys who made Halo. I was in there. I did the first raid. I got the Galahorn. And then the first time they like reset everything.
Oh, yeah.
So you still had that weapon. And it was like, wait a minute. I put how many hundreds of hours into this game? And you are telling me you're just going to put all my stats back to 0. So there is no idea of ending. And this is every service game. But for me, like, this is where that's where my love affair was over with Destiny, where it was like, the purpose is not to build up to anything. It's just to keep you there. And then you got to go in there and do work. You got to clock out of work, and then you got to clock into Destiny, and you got to go grind and do that thing. So Destiny 1 is where I jumped off this train, but I was on this train like hundreds and hundreds of hours. So
yeah, I can't.
I'm with you on that, SloMo.
Yeah, and I couldn't do it anymore, and I really started to see how, like, I didn't know it for certain until they said it, but I felt that they were just really just kind of half-assing it, not really attempting, always saying things like, we hear you. We hear you. Like, yeah, you hear me because your ears work.
Thoughts and prayers.
Right. Like, you just because you hear me doesn't mean you're going to acknowledge that this is what we want and then make changes. Just saying you hear me, you're basically just stringing me along, saying, oh, they hear us. Good. They're going to do something about it. They're not. And I think, and I've said this multiple times and I'll say it again tonight, Bungie is unique. They're unique. They're not like other live service. Destiny is not like other live service games, and Bungie is not like other developers. They are unique in this arena because they came into the live service arena, being one of the first. So they were able to weather some of these things, and people weren't so quick to recognize the signs that this was problematic and leave. The other thing is that they came into this bringing with them a massive community, a Halo community that was loyal to them and wanted to see what their next game was going to be after they stopped doing Halo. So when you go back to Destiny 1 had very little content. And it took a year for the Taken King to come out. Think about that in 2023. Let your game come out with no content and you not drop anything substantial that's good for an entire year and see if your game
Halo
is still
Infinite.
Right. You don't have a player base is what's going to happen. Your Anthem, your game's done. Your multiverses, you get shut down by your publisher even though you had a great first month. You got no content. That's what happens. Bungie is unique because the Destiny community, unlike other games communities, either kept staying and sticking it through, or they kept coming back. And that is not something that you can teach Naughty Dog or Deviation Games or Fire Sprite. You can't teach. They don't have the built-in community that you had. On the multiplayer, so they don't have that built-in community that would sustain you through your foolishness. And just now, they're finally seeing the other side of it when your community says, okay, we're done. Because I've seen this before from multiple live service games. I've seen this for The Division. When Ubisoft and Massive was like, yeah, we hear y'all on all that stuff and the stuff that you thought was going to be in Division 2 from Division 1 that we didn't bring over, all that unique stuff. Yeah, we ain't doing none of that. All right, well, we're out, is what the Division community said. And they did not come back. That's what usually happens to a live service game. When you piss them off, they leave and they go somewhere else and they forget your game exists. Now, Bungie is seeing the other side of it. And this marathon game better hit. Because I don't think Destiny's ever going to recover for what I'm not saying it's dead, but it's not going to recover the heights that it used to have. You have betrayed your community too many times. Your community now is, a lot of them are fed up and done with you in the sense that when a woman's fed up, that kind of done with you. You need to cultivate a new community, and that new community is going to need to be on Marathon. And from what we're seeing, okay, so there's been some talk. I don't know if you guys heard about this or not.
Oh, I heard about it.
Yeah, they didn't go to Destiny content creators. They went to Escape from Tarkov content creators, which I think is a smart idea, honestly.
Yeah, it was a smart idea.
Escape from Tarkov is the most, like, Marathon's a distraction shooter. Escape from Tarkov is a distraction. It's the most popular extraction shooter with the most players. So you will want to get feedback from the big content creators of the most popular game in that genre to see what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and what you may want to change. And also to kind of hopefully get them on your side so that when your game comes out, the people who have the biggest audience is now giving you free marketing by playing your game. But they said, and the question was asked to them, if this game came out today, would you play it? raise your hand if you would play it, and nobody raised their hands.
Crickets.
That's problematic. Now, there has been hold on real quick. There has been some information has come out from one of those content creators who kind of feels like that wasn't the full story, that they were asked the question, but they were also told that this was pre-alpha footage and gameplay, and that this ain't coming out no time soon. So this person, this content creator that's anonymous was there, said, well, they thought no one raised their hands because they know this isn't how the game's going to turn out, in the end result. But I think that's like, well, why ask that question? I feel like that person, whoever that is, got a comprehension issue, because clearly they asked, if this game came out today, would you play it? And nobody raised their hands. I don't think they misunderstood the question. I just don't think that game, where Marathon is right now, is good enough to get people off of Escape from Tarkov or any other extraction shooter. So now, my bad. Go ahead, Everborn. You were going to say something.
So my thing was, you hear all of this about just specifically the playtest, and then there's another point that I want to make, but this is what playtests are for. You do these things. It's an internal thing. You have a focus group. You see where you need to tighten things up, and then you do another playtest, and you get better the next time. You get better each time. That's how these things are supposed to work. That is just me being as level-headed and objective as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to be level-headed, because we know if this were an Xbox story,
here we go.
We would have been having very different conversations about management and shambles and falling apart. So I am just here with my popcorn, enjoying all of this. But in the back of my mind, I know it is not fair to judge something based off of. By the way, that absolutely did happen, because I spoke to somebody who anyway.
I know what's happened too. I know that happened.
I'm just gonna leave it at that. That story is very true. So
which story?
About nobody raising their hands.
About nobody raising their hands.
I know. I absolutely no. I never. The other content creator wasn't rejecting that story or saying that wasn't true. That other content creator was trying to make it seem as if no one raised their hands because they felt like, well, so what? The game's not, the final product isn't what we saw or played today, which I don't agree with that, because that doesn't make any sense, because clearly the question was telling them to ignore the fact that this isn't the final product. If this was the final product, would you play it? And yeah, no one, we are all in agreement, and that's what everyone has been saying. Nobody raised their hand. None of these content creators are going to play that. They're as of today, they're not going to play that. So they got a lot of work to do.
Yes, and again, that's why there's playtests. That's why it's delayed. They can put something out. Okay, so in terms of the whole money thing, right? Because I just with the firing of the people. So now I know we had said that people lost benefits, but as I understand it, it's more of the benefits on the financial side and not the healthcare benefits. I heard they get to keep those for at least 3 months.
Their Cobra benefits, they got 3 months of that. The thing that the benefit that they lost was there was some kind of reimbursement, and I don't quite know all the.
It was their expenses. So anything, like if they basically can do expenses by the end of every month, and the fact that they laid everybody off the day before the end of a month, they only had 1 day to get any of their expenses in, because they suspended traveling and everything else. So nobody could get any type of expenses unless you do it on that very last day for anything that you did up until that point. So you lost that if you didn't get it in before that, in that 1 day, which is kind of crazy to give people 1 day to get all that done.
Right, and imagine if and I think, didn't they just do a final shape reveal or something that didn't go off very well a few weeks ago?
No, that was in
Forte?
August. That was in August. They did that.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. 'Cause I was just thinking, like, well, like if let's say you're someone who has to travel for as part of your job, and you also got laid off. If you were doing that under your own kind of like your own credit card, and you just get it reimbursed at the end of the month, you probably were freaking out trying to get that in with 1 day left after the shock that you just got laid off out of nowhere. So. Look,
Yeah.
this is
Wait a minute, just really quick, just a couple of things.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, bro.
Is there any onus on Sony for this at all?
Okay. I will say I've never blamed Sony for this because I felt like this. I think the thing you said earlier for me is the biggest thing. I feel like Bungie oversold what they could do for PlayStation. Like, I still believe that as much as I can't stand what Bungie did right now, I still feel like a lot of this happened because they were being stretched way too thin. They felt like they could build two brand new IPs. They felt like they could still make and support their major franchises. That's the only game that's bringing revenue in for them when it comes to Destiny. They felt like they could still support that, along with be the stewards of helping all the PlayStation studios get their live services games off the ground in some type of capacity when it comes to like not really overseeing it, but just giving them mentorship on things that they think they can do in order to get those games up and running. I just felt that's the reason I think Destiny, I think that's why they missed 45%, because it is not to say it's PlayStation's fault. It's just the fact that this happened literally over the course of the last year and a half. That's when not the downfall, but then just the decline of the content of Destiny kind of dropped off. And some people will tell you that it's really not that big a deal because we really don't know what they are doing for for PlayStation. But it's the perception that is the biggest thing for right now. You know, a lot of content creators, a lot of people that play the game, it's like a lot of this stuff kind of happened because of them being in a relationship with PlayStation, and people were blaming PlayStation for this at first until Bungie came out and said, no, this is the decision we made. So I don't think PlayStation was really.
What else was Bungie gonna say though?
No,
right?
I mean,
Wait a minute. If I'm Jim Ryan and I go to you and I say, listen, you promised me that you were going to help me get these service games out. None of my service games are ready. You told me that you were going to have Final Shape out. That's not ready. Your numbers are down and you missed what you told me you were going to make by 45%. You are spending too much money. Bring that in line. I'm not telling you to fire someone, but fire someone.
Yep. Right? Well, no, and I agree, but that's not PlayStation. I don't think that's PlayStation's fault because, like I said, once again, PlayStation was sold the promise of what Bungie could do for them, and Bungie didn't live up to that.
But it's not in the vacuum though, because this isn't the only. It's not like Bungie's the only studio this year. Yeah, like Naughty Dog has done layoffs. All of them. Insomniac also did layoffs. The Insomniac is probably their most well-tuned, efficient studio in their first party, and they also had layoffs. It's something that PlayStation, Sony Interactive Entertainment is dealing with overall. So there is some blame to them because without them needing to do layoffs, period, this likely would not have happened. But it's the manner in which these layoffs were carried out.
But
yeah,
Sony
that goes to Bungie.
Sony should know that reflects on them, right? You're a much older company. You're a much more traditional company. I mean, they did fire Connie Booth the same way, so I don't know, right?
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
So maybe they're not much better, but my point is, we can, and this is not like we're just trying to understand this. So don't take my questions as any kind
No,
of way.
you're good. Go ahead.
But like in the same way, you know, because I was told that I was damage controlling when I said that you know, ZeniMax is a limited integration studio and they lied about how far along they were with Redfall and things like that. And I was told, no, it's an Xbox IP. Phil should have known. He should have went over there. He should have played the game. So now what I'm hearing, not from you guys, but what I'm hearing a lot is this is all on Bungie and it got nothing to do with Sony. And I'm sorry, you are handcuffed to this dead hooker. So you are gonna get the blame. I'm sorry.
All right, let me say this. I do give. I do give. I don't know what percentage I'll give it. I still give the majority of the blame to Bungie because Bungie's the one with the worst amount of layoffs at Sony Interactive Entertainment. That's one. They have the worst amount of layoffs because, as Forte said, they kind of overinflated themselves. And then they made the also egregious sin of also resting on their laurels, having the community be at the worst possible point. So, like, literally, it's all bad all across the board. And then they went into the disgusting method of doing these cuts the way they did. All that said, when it comes to the other side of things or the keeping of the same energy stuff, I went after 343 just like this.
I did too.
Because I said 343 was the reason why you're in that situation in the first place. The reason why 343 had to make what was it, 25% cuts of their studio is because of how that game was delivered. You screwed up.
Let me tell you why I'm saying these things, right?
Because I didn't blame Microsoft for 343. I blame 343 for 343.
You guys didn't, but Phil did not let Arcane or even ZeniMax take the heat for Redfall. And I'm not saying this is a Redfall situation.
And that was right. That was correct on his side, though.
Yeah,
he should take the blame.
Why is no one from Sony brass coming up here to be the face of this things and just leaving it on?
Who's left?
Anybody.
You know, let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Hold on. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
This is on us.
Let me tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Because remember, PlayStation isn't over Bungie. But this is the thing: you get the sweet deal. You get all all the pub. You get the publishing rights for your game. All we do is fund you. All we do, we own you, but we don't have nothing to say to do with any of your projects or your games or anything like that.
Wild, by the way, for a $3.6 billion purchase.
But listen,
that's another conversation for another day.
But listen, that's what I told everybody. I said, yo, the fact that Bungie was able to pull this off, they have full autonomy to do whatever they want to. But this is the thing. PlayStation still has complete oversight of the studio when it comes to the financials of it. So once the this is the thing, but I blame Bungie because I said the same thing about it when we were talking about the reason I wanted Xbox to get them, because I wanted Xbox to get them for the simple fact that I felt like Bungie wouldn't have to do all of the things they're doing for PlayStation, because Xbox doesn't need Bungie to help them build live services.
Nobody needs Bungie. Bungie is an unfaithful spouse.
Listen,
nobody should be married
SloMo,
to that.
Okay, listen, we're okay. You're right. We're not going down that road. But I'm just saying, I feel like Bungie could have just focused on their games. I feel like that's what I think the biggest difference between PlayStation and Xbox would have been. Bungie could have just came in, been a studio, and they could have just focused on making their games, and that's all they had to do. They're doing other things on the outset, and we don't know how vast and how
that asking price would have had to been much lower if that's all they were going to do.
And that's all exactly. But that's the thing. But since Bungie wanted that responsibility, they get the smoke for taking that responsibility. You know, PlayStation came out and said, "Hey, we'll give you the bag, but you're operating basically on your own when it comes to your profits and your revenue, and we expect you to come in line with that." So when they come calling and saying, "Yo, 45% down," you know, pre-order numbers aren't where they need to be at. Your studio was inflated by over 300 people since the pandemic. That's another thing people ain't really talking about, because that was a 900-man studio in 2020 or 2019. They grew that studio to 1,200, just like a lot of these companies. And I don't blame, and the reason about all of these layoffs and stuff, I'm not really mad at the layoffs themselves. I'm kind of mad at the way they're going down, because I expect it to be a downturn, because people aren't playing games as much as they were playing over the last 2 years, because the pandemic, I mean, it's still here, but people are going out and about. You know, there was a period where video games were so, like, literally the only thing you would want to do, because it was the only thing you could do in your house. People that didn't play games for 16, 17 years were going out buying consoles and stuff. So that's where you're seeing the decline come at. But I still, PlayStation's culpable for it, absolutely, because they trusted that Bungie was going to live up to the things they were saying. But the majority of all this stuff falls on them, because they didn't live up to what they were supposed to do. Like I said with Activision, I didn't blame Activision for all the stuff that was going on with Bungie. I blame Bungie for signing the contract and not living up to what Activision wanted them to do.
Well, Phil trusted Pete Hines when he said Redfall was going to be good.
And guess what? Phil's over Xbox. On the couch. But guess what? Phil's over Xbox, and all those studios are under Phil. Who's the magical person that's over Bungie? Because Jim Ryan isn't over Bungie. Well, Jim Ryan's over PlayStation.
For a couple months, yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, but Jim Ryan may have brokered the deal to get Bungie to come in, but that wasn't approved by PlayStation. That was approved by Sony Corp, because Sony is over them. So unless you could find that mythical person that is the person that oversees all of the stuff that's going on with all of their branches of studios that are underneath PlayStation, I mean under Sony, because think about it, Sony's over Sony Motion Pictures. But think about that. There is a video game studio that's not under PlayStation, but is kind of thought of as what the motion picture side of Sony is, and what their TV division is. That's where they were sitting at.
And that's why Jim Ryan's key card don't work no more. Listen, the thing is this. You said it's something about, you know, how people are playing games less. What do you guys think of the idea that part of the reason people are playing less is because with a year like 2023 and all these Game of the Year contender titles coming out seemingly every 2 weeks, that these great games are cannibalizing other games, which are leading, you know, to less sales than these games would otherwise have gotten in any other year, in any other less crowded years. So what that means is you have a lot of studios from all over the place that a lot of them were delayed 2 years. This is why so much stuff is coming out this year. Right. They've worked on it. They have to put the game out, but then the game comes out and it almost gets forgotten. Like, let's say Immortals of Ava, right? Which I heard wasn't a terrible game, but it just was lost in the shuffle, right?
It's mid. It's a mid game.
Oh, okay, sure.
It's a mid
listen,
game.
I didn't have time for it. But my ultimate point is, a lot of these studios are making games that are great, amazing, Game of the Year caliber, but forgotten about very shortly because this is such an year of an embarrassment of riches. And how does that affect the bottom line of these studios that have these AAA games that have 4 and 5 year development cycles? And is that part of why the industry, we're seeing so many layoffs in the industry, because things are selling less because there's so much competition right now within the AAA space?
Right.
Just a question, not to answer
Yeah.
right now because I think we're at the end, but food for
Yeah.
thought. And I gotta go to sleep anyway. So
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
last thing
yeah.
I gotta say.
You ain't the only one. We go. I think this has been a great discussion about this. I think that I think we all three of us kind of come from different places in regards to me and my apathy with Bungie. Forte with his kind of feeling betrayed, and then Everborn from the other side of
He might have the
I've
balance.
seen
He might
this
be the
before.
balance.
Yeah,
He might
yeah,
be
like
the
the,
balance. He's
a
the
little
balance.
bit of balance between the three of us. But I think this has been a good discussion. I'll just leave it at this. Something that we haven't really got a chance to really nail down or really harp on is that it has been 6,000 developers that have lost their jobs this year, and although this has been an awesome year for games, so don't let anyone tell you any differently. Those things, people are trying to marry what's happening with this with the quality of the games. The quality of the games will take a dip when years from now, when we see the full effects of all the people that have been laid off and the lack of the replacements of those people are going to be as qualified, as skilled, or as talented as the people that have went out. But regardless of how good this year has been, it's a really bad thing to see this many people laid off. And it wasn't just at Sony, and it hasn't been just at Sony. It's been at EA, it's been at Ubisoft, it's been at Microsoft, it's been at Epic. Embracer is closing down studios. Freaking Epic.
900 people.
Fortnite. Freaking Fortnite and laid off tons of people. It sucks. And I just hope that people have the empathy to look outside of their own personal self. It's okay to say, I hope you people find some work soon, even if it's not even in the gaming industry. Just find work soon so you can support your families, support yourself, and get out of this rut that you didn't put yourself in. But it is literally just the way this industry is moving right now. And so I just think that needs to be said, because I feel like it's not being said often enough. And then when you do say it, people try to shout you down and pretend like you don't care. So yeah. Anything else you guys want to say about that before we get into the outros?
Nope,
I
I'm
want
good.
to see Jim Ryan on a couch on Kinda Funny apologizing for the state of Bungie, and that will make things right with my soul.
I think Jim Ryan right now is somewhere in England phoning in his orders and relaxing. So I don't think we're going to see him at all before he's officially gone in March. Is it March or April? Whatever the end of their fiscal year is, I don't think we're going to see Jim Ryan in person again while he's still officially a Sony employee. But it is what it is. Everborn, thank you for coming through, man. Appreciate you,
man. I gotta do this more often. I don't have time, but I got to make time for this. This was a great show, man.
Yeah, we gotta have you back, man. We gotta have you back. Let everyone know where to find you. I did put some of your links in I got the link to your website and your Twitter/X account in the description. I'll add Gaming Circle podcast once we get kind of done with the show, but definitely shout out everything if I missed anything that you got going on right now.
No, man, the website's everything, and man, it has all the books we got there. We got a little special going on that will get you all the books with like a $20 discount. And I think we just finished page 70 something of Ariel's Adventure Chapter 2. So we do our Kickstarters after our book is done. So there's going to be a Kickstarter coming up very soon. But like I said, as soon as the book's done, we'll start doing some things for that Kickstarter. And we will have that slot again. So you can, if you want to be in a comic book, Go check out the
Let's go.
everbornsaga.com page. You can get yourself in a comic book. I might kill you off in one chapter, but you know.
Hey, look, man. If I go for that tier, I need a little bit more than a couple of scenes and a headshot in the back of the head, man. I need a little more.
SloMo, if you take that tier, I promise your character's gonna get embarrassed. So you just make sure you don't go for that.
Now I almost want to do it just to see what you do to me. That's just that. Hey, I might have to go
like double page spread.
like a epic murder, 2-page epic murder. Wow, that's that. You know what? I appreciate that. I appreciate
I'm gonna
that.
have you begging for your life too, wetting your pants. It's gonna be amazing.
Wow. Well, again, man, appreciate having you here with us, man, and I hope we didn't keep you too late.
You
Forte.
did, but I wanted to be here, so I appreciate it. This was great.
Forte, let everyone know what games you ain't gonna be beating in the next week.
Well, I beat Spider. Oh, you know I beat Spider-Man, right?
No, when did you beat Spider-Man?
3 days ago.
What?
Yep, 3 days ago.
Okay, so what's your is it game of the year contender nominee?
It's up there. It's not for Tears is still my game of the year, but that that Spider-Man was that was something.
So it's a nominee, but it's not a winner.
It's a nominee. It's definitely a nominee.
Okay.
I don't think thing is I haven't really you know what, I'll come back, I'll give you an actual answer next week when we do DPS, because I haven't really thought about it in game of the year. I kind of just beat it and it was like, yo, this is a really good game. So I had to kind of like compare.
Are you gonna get the platinum?
Yes, I am. I'm going to go back in and do it. Because you unlock the what's the highest difficulty? Is it ultimate? Ultimate. Yeah, so I unlocked that, and I'm just.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that until they come out with New Game Plus. So hopefully it doesn't take too long.
I will say this though. I fought myself for about 20, 30 minutes. When you get to the very end and it tells you on the screen that make sure you do all your upgrades and do all of this before you go. And part of me almost wanted to platinum it before I did that. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to beat the game and then I'm going to come back and do all that stuff again later. Because I am going to jump. I have jumped in it a couple of times. I did start another game just to basically go through and collect stuff. So I am working on the platinum, but the game was fun. I really, really enjoyed that game. The cinematics in that game is just wow.
Now look, I cleared the map and I got all but one trophy. The trophy for the web line, the stealth takedowns on the web line was the only one that had, because you know me, I ain't a stealth dude. I was literally kamikaze Spider-Man going to, I mean, because even though they made it slight, like I played the whole game on Spectacular, which was the hardest difficulty you could do so far, and even then it was still kind of easy. So for me, it was just like, I'm not doing stealth when I'm this powerful. For Peter and for Miles, I was just, nah, man, I'm jumping in there and I'm murdering everybody, and I only had like 11 stealth takedowns with the web line. And you got to have 25 for that trophy. And so I didn't start a new game to do that. I just kept checking for the random crimes. And whenever I would find ones that were in an alley, I would throw out the web line and with Miles go invisible and then get my takedowns that way. So if that's the last thing you have left, Forte, you can do that method so that you don't have to play a whole, play through the whole game all over again.
I will say this. Yeah, definitely. I will say this though, because I don't, people still haven't played and beat the game yet. I will say this. We were talking about the differences between playing as Miles and playing as Peter, or playing as, regular Spider-Man. Oh yeah, that changes dramatically once you get.
Once you get the symbiote,
Woo.
yeah,
Man,
it changes. Yeah,
man, it's something. It's like prototype. It's crazy.
yeah. Prototype is a very good comparison. But we're gonna get out of here. Look, like I said before, either tomorrow or Saturday, I will be doing my second live stream of Alan Wake 2, at least going through chapter 2 from chapter 1. I can't promise y'all any more than that. I also can't promise that I'll stay awake. So that's all on y'all, okay? So if I fall asleep and y'all hearing me snoring, don't be mad at me. Okay, I told y'all it was going to happen. And also, I'm still making more content for the First Descendant. I think, I definitely was really feeling the game. I think you can just probably expect to see a lot of that kind of content from this channel. So if you were really liking the First Descendant, then you're probably going to really like my content going forward. And I do have a couple other videos I'm working on, so just look out for those. We'll get out of here though. Enjoy your games. Enjoy the rest of your night as it is, and peace out.
Peace. Sorry we kept you so long, bro. Appreciate you staying, though.
Eyes up, Guardian.